Hey, welcome back to Crash Base. My name is Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's a Friday afternoon. It's 4:04:25, and we're here to play some Marvel Champions on a Friday. Hopefully y'all are well. It's been a busy week, that's for sure. Luckily, we're a bit caught up. We are definitely deep in some video editing pipelines. Today, finished an edit, wrote a script, did some stuff, so it's 3 o'clock. Let's get some time in online and still continue to play Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The new box, we've had it for a couple weeks. It's a box that I don't know, I feel like the community is pretty divided on. I think I'm kind of in the negative camp for now, specifically when it comes to solo play. This is a box that just doesn't seem to be well balanced against solo play for a couple reasons, and we'll probably be diving into those today. But otherwise, we're playing a hero that I have very little experience playing. I think this is one of the heroes I played the least, which is Spectrum. I'll talk about why that is in a bit, but in the meantime, Brennan, it's the space. How's it going? We got some more spoilers today in Netrunner World on Nelson Games website, which is pretty exciting. A very exciting card too, and a really great article from Safer, which is, I'm just an absolute sucker for design dev articles where you can kind of read about, you know, processes and iteration and feedback. I just love that sort of stuff. John, how's it going? Look out, the space is gonna crash. I feel like the name of the stream will change eventually. I don't know what to do about that. I realize like the loading screen is also a bit static and we got to work on that, but there's so many small things to do. I think the next thing I definitely want to do on the channel is make one of these digital so I can have the number next to my head. Because this number, if you're not watching in like 1080 or 1440, is hard to see, as much as I'll say the number usually, but the die seem okay. I've got some feedback that the dice aren't that easy to read, but maybe we'll get bigger dice at some point. Hopefully you're doing well, John. This is Spectrum. Spectrum was one of the two heroes that came out in the, what's it called? The Guardians of the Galaxy box. I forget the name exactly. Is that true? No, that's not true. The next box, the box after, the Thanos one, the one with the purple big raisin man. It's called the Mad Titan Shadow. It's over there. And there was two heroes that came out in that box, which I think were characters that maybe not a lot of people knew about. One of them, mind you, is Adam Warlock, who I believe became much more relevant in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and people started to know who that guy was. And the other one was Spectrum, who Spectrum, I believe, is an Avenger in some timelines, but I didn't know anything about Spectrum. Now, generally when I get a new box, I sit down and I play through it 2-player with my partner, and we play mostly the pre-constructed decks. We make some changes. And so when we played through the Mad Titan Shadow, I played Warlock and my partner played Spectrum, which means I've seen a lot of Spectrum, but I actually didn't play a lot of Spectrum because once we were done that, I didn't like immediately grab Spectrum. I do believe I beat one campaign with Spectrum so far, but out in terms of Marvel Champions heroes, she's definitely one of the ones that I've played the least. So excited to get her to the table. And what we're doing today is we're playing a leadership deck. I'm not huge into leadership. I find leadership to be very strong, but not exactly very interesting all the time. And we are playing an aerial deck. We have air supremacy. How focus is that going to be? Is that going to focus? Yeah, not bad. Air supremacy is a card I've never played before. Hold on. Okay. We didn't lose the keyboard. That's always, oh, typed a whole lot of eyes. Air supremacy is one of these aerial payoff cards. If I'm not mistaken, Monica is the only hero in the whole game that has aerial baked in on hero side. That might still be true. There's a lot of heroes that can get aerial, but she has aerial as a trait on her hero side. Specifically, aerial doesn't have any like rules implication. It doesn't actually do anything. However, there's a whole bunch of cards that say like if you have aerial or if you have aerial characters, you get some sort of benefit. We just saw recently that Falcon is coming out as an upcoming hero pack in this cycle that we're in and has a whole bunch of aerial support. So we're going to see more aerial stuff for sure. But this card is the Leadership Aerial Support card, and it says choose up to X enemies where X is equal to the number of aerial characters you control, and you just deal 3 damage to each of those enemies. That's not bad. That means at a flat level, we always should have Monica or a Spectrum in aerial, so that's 2 for 3 damage, which is okay. But if there's more enemies, we'll have more aerial. And that's a really big thing about our deck. Our deck, all the allies are aerial. Every single ally in our deck is aerial, and we have like maybe 7 or 8 aerial allies. All the leadership allies that are aerial, barring some of the X-Men that don't make a lot of sense. And then we have 2 neutrals. We have Vivian and the other neutral character I haven't played yet, but they seem pretty good. But they all have the aerial clause, so we're going to go pretty far. We also have Power of Aerial. There's no way that's what it's called. The Power of Flight, which is a card that came out, if I'm not mistaken, in the Angel box. And you put 3 of these in your deck, and it just generates 2 resources for aerial cards, which I think we're running the full playset of these. We have all 3 of them. So we have so many resources in our deck. We have the Power of Leaderships, we have Energy, Strength, Genius, and then we have a full playset of these. Now, the thing is that most of these aerial allies are very expensive. I think 3 is the cheapest ally we might have. Everything's 4 or 5. I think we have 1, 2. So the idea is that with our energy generators, and I do believe Monica has 2 aerial generators in Spectrum, we should be able to put a lot of stuff on the table. Now, to describe Spectrum, Spectrum's kind of cool. Spectrum is a form changer. However, not exactly a form changer like, well, actually not that different than Nick Fury that we played last week. So Spectrum stats are really bad. 1-on-1 is obviously terrible, but Spectrum has these 3 forms, and you can't change to these forms willingly the way that you can change to hero form or alter ego form. Oh, I have that camera. I forgot I can zoom there and there. But each of these, they are symmetric, and they basically just say get +2 to one of the basic stats. So for instance, Pulsar does +2 to defense, and when you change to it, you heal 1 damage. And then all the other ones are similar to that. Gamma is +2 attack, and when you change to it, you can do 1 damage to the thing. And then finally, we have Photon, which you might guess that it's +2 thwarting, and you can remove 1 threat from a scheme. Now, the thing is, you can't change between these. The only way that you can choose to change between these is by flipping down to Alter Ego and coming back up, because when you flip to Hero mode, you can choose one of these to put into play. But you have cards, and almost every card, in fact, in terms of I think Spectrum has the least amount of unique cards in her kit out of any hero, because I think every card is just about a 2 of or 3 of. There's actually very, very few distinct cards in the deck. So for instance, we have, I think, 3 of each of these, which are basically cards that say do something, and then you can change to the corresponding form. So Pulsar Shield is changed to this, and you can become the defense type, which is good. You have Photon Speed, and they all have kickers, mind you, if you're already in the correct form, which, like, they're nice, but they're not always important. But Photon Speed, the same thing. You can change the Photon Energy form and remove 4 threat. If you're already there, you can ignore Crisis. And then the last one is expensive, but it is the most important one, I think, that you care about being in the form you're in. Because Gamma Blast, it does like 7 damage, and it gets overkill if you're already in Gamma form. The last card that you have in your deck is, I think you have 3 copies of Speed of Light. I'm pretty sure you have 3 of each of these. Maybe it's 2, 2, 3. But Speed of Light just says change form and draw a card. And again, whenever you change to a form, you get that ability. But that's the thing with Spectrum, and that's what I think a lot of people complain about Spectrum, is that if you're in the wrong form in Spectrum, you're in a really bad spot, right? Like if you block and you're in defense form, and then you have to change to the thwart form to not thwart 1 from her base stat, it's going to be bad. And so you generally have to be looking at your hand, and you have to be like, okay, I think I can deal with this. I think I can block here because I have a Speed of Light in my hand, which can change me to the thwart mode. But you have to be a bit careful, because if you find yourself in the wrong form and suddenly there's a bunch of enemies and you're stuck in thwart form, or there's a bunch of threat and you're stuck in attack form, you don't really have control the same way that you can for some of the other form changers like Ant-Man or somebody like that. That's a good reason why we're playing leadership too, because we'll have all these allies, and all of the allies have really good stats. 2 attack, 2 thwart is pretty common. So even if we're not great at that turn and doing the right thing, some of our aerial friends will help us out. I haven't played this deck yet. We're going to play on Expert. I'm going to shuffle this up real good, but I have no idea how this is going to go. I haven't played Spectrum in many, many moons. I think abstractly she can be powerful because 3 stat is good, but specifically in solo, sometimes you can find yourself in a bad situation, and if you're in the wrong form, it's not going to be great. We're going to just try and play through the box. Again, I feel like I'm the only person who really likes to play campaign mode, and unfortunately, I don't think I like the campaign mechanics, the overarching campaign mechanics in this box, so I'm not going to play with those. But we'll start with Black Widow, and then we'll go on to Batroc, and then we'll see how far we get this afternoon. We'll probably stream for a couple hours. All right, we're playing against Black Widow. Black Widow, the first encounter from the new box. We're playing on Expert, so we're going to play with Standard 3 as well. So we'll have that. We're going to shuffle in Expert, the Obligation, Black Widow, and then Aim Abduction, Aim Science. So Black Widow, 2 attack, 2 scheme, not bad. When revealed, place 2 threat on the main scheme. 16 hit points is not too high. And Forced Interrupt, very important we remember this. When a character you control attacks Black Widow, so that means us and our allies, you remove 1 threat from the main scheme as a cost, which is nice, but then you rip the top card of the encounter deck, and if it's a preparation, you do the text on that. So some of the preparations are like stun you, bad things happen, you get hurt. Some of them, a bunch of the cards actually don't have preparation text, mind you, of course. Not all of these cards do. So who knows? Technically, it also means attacking removes threat, but very importantly, if there's no threat on the main scheme, this doesn't do anything, which means you don't have to worry about the preparations. She also has a whole bunch of attachments that will attach to her and augment her attacks, or when you attack her, it'll be like every card has a preparation text on it, even if it doesn't. And so that can get a bit more dicey, but overall, Black Widow has been an okay starting villain. I feel like a lot of my first experiences with this box where I was playing as Maria Hill, and let me tell you, Maria Hill makes none of these villains have relevant text on most scenarios. It's like kind of upsetting. Another thing I'm doing is I'm going to move the encounter deck over here. I've done this for the last couple of videos I've recorded, and I think it actually works out really well. It's hard to reach over there with the microphone, so you're going to see a bit of the encounter deck, but it's just going to be here. I find it a lot easier to get to. I think it's been a great change. All right, the Widow's Web. Main scheme. Black Widow 2 and 3 on Expert, Black Widow on Standard, Aim, Abduction, and Aim Science. Each player searches the encounter deck for a minion and puts that into play engaged with them. So notably it says searches and puts into play engaged, which means we don't do when revealed effects. So I feel like every time I play Black Widow, I cheese it and just grab the same minion that has a nasty when reveal. Quick Strike will hit you, if I'm not mistaken. This enemy has Quick Strike because Quick Strike fires when you engage. But in theory, we could do an Aim Scientist. Our deck has not a lot of stun and confuse, so vulnerable, which is like the keyword that happens a lot in this box, is going to be pretty difficult for us to deal with. I don't think we have any stun or confuse, so vulnerable is just going to be text. But I think we often go for one of the aim abductors because it's just like 4 health. Yeah, that's all we'll do. Oh, and Shadow 2. We have all the art for this stuff. This stuff was uploaded to Hall of Heroes. So we're actually able to show all the cards now, which is quite hype. So this is one reveal. You tuck the ally underneath this, and then you have to rescue the ally. And that's like not great for us, but especially because we have expensive allies. But we don't have to do any of the text because we're not even revealing it. We're engaging it. And 2 attack, not bad. 4 health, it's okay. We can probably deal with that. If we change to the fighting form, we get to do 1 damage, and then we can attack for 3. So we can definitely deal with the aim abductor if we want to. All right, lastly, we just flip this thing over, right? Oh, excuse me. All right, and we get the Widow's Web. This one actually scales pretty aggressively for solo. Because 10 threat we lose. It says you track the missing shield specialist to a decommissioned stretch of subway tunnel and discover the kidnapper's base of operation. X is Black Widow's stage number, so we actually add 2 a turn. And then once we get to the 3 side, if we defeat Black Widow 2, we put 3 a turn here, which is actually quite a lot. Then we put 2 more on here because it starts on 2, so we're at 4 of 10, and we're gonna be at 6 of 10. So if we don't want to go to Monica's attack mode, which I don't know the name of yet, we can always take some 3 threat off of this, or 4 threat, which would be good. All right, Monica, that's our alter ego. 3 recovery, 6 hand size, 11 hit points, so not too bad. But you put all your energy forms up face down, and after you change to this form, you also turn all your energy forms face down. So you can't have any energy forms when you're alter ego, you're just Monica doing some kickboxing. All right, I feel like I shuffled the heck out of that. All right, so let's do our mulligan. Not 100% what we're looking for. Some setups would be nice. We have a lot of resource generators. Like we have some neutral stuff, some neutral supports. Monica comes with 2 resource generators, or Spectrum does on her own. Let's see what we get here. Getting a nice ally to deal with the aim abductor would be good too. All right, there's Adam Warlock. This card's pretty cool. It has a response, which is not a forced response. It's aerial, of course, like most of our allies, if not all our allies. If Adam Warlock attacks or thwarts, you can discard a card at random from your hand. Now, if you can set up your turn to only have 1 card, it's no longer random, and then you can get one of these abilities, and they're very good abilities. Remove 3 threat from a scheme is incredible, especially on this turn where there's 4 threat on the main scheme. Heal 3 damage from an identity. That one we don't care about on turn 1. And then deal 3 damage to an enemy is enough for Adam to take out the aim abductor on themselves. Really, really cool card. There we have our Air Supremacy. We could also play this on turn 1. It's a card we're probably going to keep for later, but we'll probably have 2 aerial cards because Spectrum's aerial, and if we play Adam is aerial, and then we can do 3 damage to 2 folks. Photon Speed. Okay, so we already have a way to remove 4 threat, and we can clear the Widow's Web, so that might be worth keeping. Notably, also, all of Monica's cards, or all Spectrum's cards, are superpower traded, so we'll go far with Deft Focus. Pulsar Shield. This is the defense version. It allows you to change to defense mode. It also readies you, which is nice, but we really don't want to play this because it doesn't do anything. This is a new card that came out since I've last played Spectrum. Soaring Acrobatics is a neutral 1-of upgrade you can play, and it says when an aerial character you control uses a basic power, so either an ally or ourselves, we can exhaust this to give them +1, which is honestly not that bad at all, because we're always going to be aerial and all our allies are. Speaking of that, we have Vivian as our last. Vivian is the cheapest aerial we have. And after Vivian enters play, choose an attachment, non-elite minion, or non-permanent side scheme, and we basically blank its text for 1 round. So, Pulsar Shield actually is not the worst, or sorry, Photon Speed's not the worst because we could take off of that. Now, Adam Warlock and keeping a science card means that we can guarantee destroy the aim abductor. I don't think I want to keep Air Supremacy. I think I'd rather set up. I think Soaring Acrobatics is a fine setup card, and Vivian's a fine setup card. We have a whole bunch of double resources, so Vivian can be like a 2-card play, which is kind of nice. If that lines up, I think we'll be happy, but it's not necessarily going to happen. We'll definitely mulligan these 3. There's a chance we mulligan Soaring Acrobatics, because say that we draw 3 cards, we have 3 resources. It's 3 resources for Adam, and then we can't play Vivian. So we're assuming we're going to draw 1 double. I think our deck has a lot of doubles, but we could discard Vivian here. I'll just hold. Again, first time playing this deck. There's a double, Energy. There's another double, Genius, so we can play a bunch of these. And then we have Falcon. This is the Joaquin Torres version. And this one says, after a Falcon attacks or thwarts, spend an energy resource to ready another champion character. Now, we have a couple champion characters. Vivian is a champion. Notably, Spectrum is not a champion. But this does work for, I think we have like 3 or 4 champions in the deck. Champions, mind you, was a whole wave. There was a whole wave of mostly champions that happened in the Spectrum wave. So who else is a champion? Like Nova, I think. And other Nova-like people. And it's back to us. So how are we going to play in this turn? We want to deal 4. We want to deal 4. We can definitely play Vivian. We could definitely play Adam Warlock. And then we could either have an energy resource or a physical resource. Physical resource removes 3 threat from a scheme. That means we could do everything that we want. And we could get 2 allies on the table. We wouldn't play Soaring Acrobatics, but I feel like that's okay. But again, then we can use Adam's ability. So this would be 3, 4, 5, and this is 2, 4, 5. And then we can either do, lightning doesn't matter on Adam because we don't care about that text. Not that Adam, excuse me. Definitely not that Adam. But we can definitely do remove some threat. Or sorry, remove 3 threat. It's weird that physicals remove 3 threat. It feels like it would never be that way. Huh. It feels like these are like backwards to the way that they show up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now we have M.O.D.O.K too, and I think M.O.D.O.K we're definitely going to flip up. I'm assuming, we have to flip up here. So if we flip up the Spectrum, we have to make a decision. I'm realizing how many letters I have to write. So Forrest, after you change to this form, choose a face down energy form, flip that card face up, and change to that energy form. And each of our energy forms has a little kicker and gives us +2 to certain stats. I'm not going to track the +2 with a little like button. I'm just going to keep this next to it and remember. So we could do +2 attack to defeat the M.O.D.O.K. That'll do it. And then we can do Adam Warlock. Yeah, I think we will do +2 attack. So we're going to change to Gamma mode. Gamma says, after you change to this energy form, deal damage to an enemy, we'll deal damage to the M.O.D.O.K. And then we'll start playing cards. So we'll spend 2 for Vivian. Vivian's text is not going to be relevant here. Just going to have some okay stats, and we can block with Vivian. Then we're going to play 1, 2, 3 for Adam Warlock. Comes in for 3 here. I think we're now going to attack with Spectrum, which now she has 3 attack because of Gamma, so M.O.D.O.K will be defeated. Adam Warlock will thwart for 1, and then Adam Warlock says, after Adam Warlock attacks or thwarts, discard a card at random. This is a random card, and based off the icon, so it's physicals or remove 3 threat from a scheme. Notably, that's not a mandatory response. It's not a forced response, so you don't actually have to do it, but we're going to do it there, of course. And then Vivian will just attack for 1 so that we can block with Vivian if we want to. That means next turn we'll be still in Gamma mode, which is totally fine. And we'll go from there. Drop. We get energy duplication. So we have 2 of these. Really cool card. Uh-oh, I locked in energy. There's too many cards. This generates a resource a turn based off of what form we're in. Now, none of our cards explicitly care about the resource type. So it's just going to be a resource generator for 2, which is quite nice. And you can use this for anything, right? Yeah, it's also not even action, so you can use it during the hero phase if you need to. Depth Focus, this card we've been playing a heck of a lot of. Anytime that your hero has superpower cards, you generally play one of these. 1 per deck, gives you a resource a turn. It's an action, though. It reduces the cost of the card, so you can't use this on the hero turn. We have Blue Marble. This is our unique ally. Comes in for 3 and allows us to change forms and has really good numbers on it, of course, is Ariel. We have Photon Speed. This is the one that removes up to 4 threat and allows us to change to our threat form. And finally, we have Ready to Rumble. This is a card that I'm only realizing I'm starting to play more and more of it. And that might be because we played, we played Nick Fury. And anytime that you have a form changer, after you change form, you can discard this to ready your hero. So it's a card that we just want to get down. And then on a certain turn, we can do attack for 3, change form with another card, ready ourselves, thwart for 3. And it gives us a lot of flexibility. So I like this hand as much as we might not be able to play all of it. All right. So Widow's Web, gets 2. Now Black Widow's going to attack for 2 and a card. We could block with Vivian. Otherwise, Vivian can thwart too. Currently, we're at full health, and we do have a couple modes that heal us. So we could just take some damage here. It's 2 and a card. I think we're okay taking some damage, so we're not going to block. 2 boost icons on Destroy Evidence, so we take 4. We go down to 7. And our encounter card is, that's our deck, Attack Acrobatics. I really like how all these cards are the same. Did I not spell it right? Uh-oh. I know I have all the cards, but I might have spelled it wrong. I can't find it. Give me 1 second. Attack Acrobatics. Yeah, I can't find it. So when revealed, if you're in alter ego form, change to hero form, Black Widow attacks you, give her an additional boost card for this attack. So now she's attacking for 2 and 2 cards. This is why we keep Vivian around. So now Vivian will block. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 under fire, 6, 7 from Widow's Bite. So a massive attack. Really glad we didn't block on the first one. And so Vivian will be defeated. All right, back to us. Adam Warlock could heal. I think we just want to set up as much as we can. And this might just be a full setup turn. So we're very, very powerful. We definitely don't need photon speed, but it might be worth keeping certain resources for Adam Warlock. Mental deals 3 damage, which is okay. So we're definitely not playing Blue Marvel, so we can just hold Blue Marvel at the end. So we'll pitch Photon Speed for Deft Focus. We'll exhaust Deft Focus to generate for a superpower, and then we'll play Energy Duplication. We'll exhaust Energy Duplication to play Ready to Rumble, and then we don't use Adam's text. So if that's the case, we're stuck in attack form. I'll try this. It might be risky. I'll attack for 3. And it says, when a character you control attacks Black Widow, remove 1 threat here. And then we have to discard the top card and see if it has... Okay, this is just Dark Design, so we don't draw that as a boost, but we do get the damage. So it was 3 damage and a threat, and I'll keep Adam Warlock because I want to use Adam Warlock's ability as much as possible. So I don't want to just like thwart for 1, attack for 1. All right, notice how we couldn't change form there. If we wanted to be able to take 3 threat, we were just not in control. We did have 1 card in our hand. Actually, we had 2 cards in our hand that allowed us to change form, but this is the sort of problem. It's also why I want to power up with all our energy playing cards or our research generators, because these cards all cost 1, 2, or 3, and being able to play them for free is obviously very good. All right, Gamma Blast. This is our big one. It deals up to 7 damage. Overkill, if we're in Gamma form, allows us to change the Gamma form. That's the form we're in. Speed of Light, again, change forms, draw a card. Pretty sick, cantrip. Air Supremacy, we can do AoE damage to multiple characters. We already have 2 aerial characters. Power of Flight gives 2 resources for an aerial card. Technically, Air Supremacy is an aerial card. And then finally, we have Pulsar Shield, which we might actually do here. It allows us to heal 1. So Pulsar Shield's a card that, like, I'm never sure it's great to play. I think you only really want to play it when you have another card in your hand that you can let you switch forms. And we do have Speed of Light, so we definitely will. Because switching forms, you get the kicker. Anytime you switch to a form, it does an effect. So you are just incentivized abstractly to change forms somewhat consistently. Is the table crooked? Because this is... Yeah, maybe. Ugh. Yeah. That's good. I think that's fine. Because this is now parallel. Yeah, good. All right, this goes up to 3. Black Widow attacks for 2 and a card. And I think here, we'll generate a resource from Energy Duplication to play Pulsar Shield. When Spectrum defends, change the Pulsar Energy form. So Pulsar Energy form says, +2 defense, and after you change to this energy form, heal 1 damage from Spectrum. Now it says when Spectrum defends, so we had to defend, change the Pulsar Energy form and ready Spectrum. If that card didn't ready her, I think it would be pretty terrible. We would get Retaliate if you're already in this form, but we're not playing a defense deck, so we're just blocking for 3. 2 and a card, 3 boost icons, 5 damage, so we take 2 damage, we're down to 6. So we did also heal, so it's kind of like we blocked for 4. And our encounter card is Stun Net. Really weird. This card has an FAQ in the rules book, in the document that came with Agent of the Shield, but the FAQ doesn't make sense. It actually references different text. So it seems like at some point in time, the text on StunNet changed between the printing of the book and the releasing of this, because the StunNet FAQ talks about being perpetually stunned, and StunNet doesn't actually stun you. It just says you cannot attack. So that's kind of neat. It says exhaust a character you control to discard this card. Any player may trigger this ability. So that's not too bad. We can just exhaust Adam Warlock if we wanted to. All right, we have big AoE damage, but we can't attack. So we probably have to get rid of this. I do think we want to consider changing forms. So we might just change the thwart form to get 1 threat off of here. Then we can threat it, and then we can do the Gamma Blast or the Air Supremacy. So I think no matter what, we'll start here with Speed of Light, change energy form. So I think we're going to change to the thwarting form, which is Photon. So it gives us +2 thwart and says after you change, remove a threat from a scheme. And then this says draw a card. Okay, we have 2 Gamma Blasts. This is free. And then 1, 2, 3, we can't play this. We could have done some sort of ready stuff, but we'll exhaust Adam Warlock to discard this. So now we can attack. This is where it's worrisome. Like if you spend so much damage doing a Gamma Blast for 3 damage, and it turns out we rip the top card of the deck because of Black Widow's text, and it just says cancel the attack, we feel kind of silly. That's for sure. So this is free. Then we can generate 1, 2, we're short 1 resource. So we might actually just hold the Power of Flight and play a Gamma Blast. So if that's the case, I'm going to take no risks. I'll just thwart for 3, clearing this. Then we'll play Gamma Blast, generating 1 resource, and then we'll do 2, 3. So again, This is symmetrical. So it's changed to Gamma Energy form. Gamma Energy form, we were in there earlier. So we've touched all 3 forms in one turn cycle, which is cool. We get +2 attack. And after you change this, deal 1 damage to an enemy. So this takes 1. And then we do the rest of Gamma Blast, which just says do 7. Not too bad at all. 3 for 7 is like kind of not great. We have so many resource generators, it feels better. But with Overkill, 3 for 7 is pretty good. Let alone it's kind of for 8 because we change forms. So that drops Black Widow 6, 7. All right, I'm going to hold on to a research generator because we have so many aerial allies that are pretty expensive we haven't drawn yet, and then we'll just pass. We could have done another attack for 1 by using a Ready to Rumble, but I don't think we're going to do that. So we'll draw up. We get Snow Guard. Speak of an expensive aerial ally. Technically not aerial, actually. I don't know how these work together. How does this work? Because Snow Guard says, after Snow Guard enters play, and Power of Flight says double the number for playing aerial cards. So I don't think this works, but we can always make Snow Guard aerial. In theory, you can also just make Snow Guard have big attack and overkill or big block and retaliate. Snow Guard's really, really flexible. I wasn't playing Marvel Champions at the time that this character came out, so I don't know if this character was ever like meta or hype, but yeah, fine. And we'll draw Air Supremacy, a Helicarrier, which generates 1 resource a turn, and Power of Leadership, which means we can play Air Supremacy for free. Kind of an ugly hand. I wish we drew more allies. There's a lot of allies in the bottom of our deck. Give me 1 second. Yeah, my chat. What is going with that? I was like, the chat hasn't moved, and then I hit refresh, and now there's a whole bunch of chat messages. I'm getting this sort of like paranoia where like a chat is too still for a while, but apparently people are talking. Thank you. Dice are pretty readable, but I'm 1440p. Yeah, John, I imagine so. I'm literally picking up Champions plus Spider-Man this afternoon. Crash Space Foam was real. Get out. Wait, which Spider-Man? Are you picking up Sinister Motives, Brennan? Hello, Grid the Crash. Jello Shots, how's it going? Roshni, lunch plus tea plus Andre stream after a brutal week. Life is its good moments. Hopefully your week's been doing better, Roshni. Glad that you can take some relaxing time and drop by a stream. Hopefully you're doing well. I don't know why that happens. Maybe I shouldn't pop out chat. Let me try not popping out chat. Maybe I'll be less paranoid about that. All right. As we were. So it's back to Widow. Widow puts 2 here. And then Widow attacks for 2 and a card. I have no interest in blocking with Adam Warlock. So we're just going to take it. We block for 1. Again, that's a problem with this the changing of modes. We might actually go for Snow Guard and make Snow Guard have +5 hit points and retaliate, because that's 8 hit points retaliate, which means we can soak a bunch of attacks for Black Widow and not worry about blocking. So yeah, we have no ways to control our forms, so we're just going to take it. We might be able to heal with Adam. So 2 and a card. This is nabbed. It has 1 boost icon, so it's 3. I feel like I made the table more crooked. Hold on. Getting the level. Okay. So we'll take 3. We're down to 3. We could just lose here. We'd always can panic block with Adam. And then we get night vision goggles. Okay, I need to remember that attack acrobatics didn't work, so I'll look into that. Attach to Black Widow. Each encounter card without a printed preparation ability gains preparation, prevent all damage from this attack, then discard night vision. That's a really cool ability. Also gives you +1 scheme, and there's no way to get rid of it. I love how the night vision goggles allows her to attack in the dark. Glad to see some Spectrum. Seems like a very few Marvel Champion streamers play her. I know, Austin. How's it going? And I'm not 100% sure why. I feel like people don't know the character, so they don't really relate to it. But also like the form changing, I do feel like sometimes gives you feel bad moments. I haven't played a lot of her too, for what it's worth. I think she's one of my least played heroes, but she's quite fun, and she rewards forward thinking and managing your deck and knowing what's in there. Okay, so when in encounter card without a printed preparation ability gains preparation, prevent all damage from this attack, then discard this. Okay, so if we need to attack when it's on 1, I think we definitely want to play Snow Guard and put 4 counters or 3 counters to give Snow Guard a huge blocker stance. We have 1 resource generator. We have no superpowers. We can definitely play Power of Flight for free, which will do 3 damage, which is kind of whatever. And then, no, we can't do that. So I think we just pitch. We have 1 extra resource, right? Because we can generate 1 here. And then we can do 2, 3, 4, and then play Snow Guard. We can either keep Power of Flight or the Power of Leadership. I think we'll just do that. We don't have much else to do. Oh, actually, it matters because we can keep a resource in hand. So we'll keep the Power of Leadership in hand. So with Adam Warlock, we'll have flexibility because this is a wild. And Adam Warlock says when you discard a wild, you can choose what it is. I'm assuming we'll heal 3. So we'll pitch 1, 2, 3. We'll generate a resource from Energy Duplication to play Snow Guard. Comes in with 3 health, but after Snow Guard enters play, plays up to 3 shift counters here, where shift counters are equal to X. She gains. So we're going to put 3 shift counters on here. I'm just not going to do that. I'm just going to remember. So she has 8 health, and she has Retaliate. She has no stats, but feels like this angel is going to be blocking for us a fair bit. I also do not know who this character is. Cool. Then we're going to thwart with Adam Warlock to put this on 1. Hold on. Actually, what does Night Vision Goggles say? Night Vision Goggles says each encounter card prevents all damage from this attack. Okay, so we're going to attack with Adam Warlock into Black Widow. So we're assuming that takes a threat off. We're assuming this won't have text on it. This has preparation text, so Night Vision Goggles won't fire. So this says, put this minion into play, engage with you, then resolve the attack against the grunt instead. Oof. Okay. That's never happened so far. So this comes in, it has 5, it has guard. In a video I just edited, I missed guard. So I'm going to try and do this to remember that guard is there. We'll just put that on top. No, that's not good though. I need a way, like I wish I had a token exactly like this that said guard that I could put it on here. But I don't, so forgetting guard, we'll just try not to forget guard. Yeah. So that means we do 1 damage to this. Now Night Vision Goggles only gets discarded when its text fires, if I'm not mistaken. So this says, win encounter card without a printed ability. Prevent all damage, then discard. So that's still there. Now Adam Warlock, we can discard this from our hand. And Adam Warlock lets us to do the text on Adam. So we can do any of these texts. Healing 3 seems okay. The aim grunt doesn't do anything besides attacking for 1. We're attacking for 3, so we can't defeat it. We could do 3 damage, but then we waste damage anyways. I think we just heal 3. Yep. So we discard a wild. We're going to make it heal 3 damage from an identity. So we go up to 6. Now Spectrum can attack for 3. I guess we will. We have to attack this, and then we'll just pass the turn. Draw 5. First, another energy duplication. You have 2 of these in the deck. Quinn Carrier, another energy generator. Speed of Light, so we can technically change forms, which means we can ready, so we could do like a little attack. We definitely want to change to the Gamma form eventually, so we can do 1 damage to the aim grunt. Captain Marvel is very, very expensive. I'm not sure if we'll be able to play her, but when you play her, you rip cards from the top of the deck, and if you hit an energy icon, you do 3 damage to an enemy. If you hit 2 energy icons, you also stun that enemy. And then we have Cloud9, who have also not played before, and from my understanding is getting reprinted in the upcoming aerial set. So exhaust Cloud9 to choose a player until the end of that phase. Each aerial character that player controls gets +1 thwart. That's also quite nice that if you're stuck in a bad form, you can at least get 2 thwart if you Cloud9 your hero. But you can also Cloud9 like Snowguard or anybody else in a pinch. Okay, that's a weird hand. We definitely want to set up all our research generators on our first pass because our deck has a lot of allies, and most of our allies cost like 3 to 4. So this goes up to 3. Black Widow is now attacking for 2 and a card. I think we'll block with Snowguard. We could also block Snowguard into the aim grunt, which means retaliate damage, but I think Adam Warlock will defeat the aim grunt. So we'll block with Snowguard. 2 and a card. 1 boost icon, 3 damage. So Snowguard takes 3. Black Widow takes 1. Aim grunt's going to attack. We're not going to block it. We'll take 1 damage. Our encounter card is nowhere is safe. So here we just have to discard something. Place 1 pursuit counter on pursued by the past. This is still too far away from me. I'll just move it a bit closer. Then if it has any counters on it, discard an upgrade or support you control. So we can't discard the forms. Just checking. They are permanent. Not that you'd want to. So I'm assuming here we just discard Ready to Rumble, which seems like our least valuable card. Okay, that's fine. So what can we do here? We have no superpowers from our hand. We can always start with Speed of Light to see what we draw into. We have 3 attack. We can change to a form that allows us to heal 1. We can change to that allows us to block. We can change to a form that allows us to thwart 3, which we probably want to do. And then Adam Warlock will finish this off. So I think we're going to always just change to the thwarting form. So Speed of Light just says change energy forms and draw a card. So we'll change to, you have to decide this first, to Photon form. Photon just says after you change this form, remove 1 threat. So we have a lot more thwarting, and then we can draw a card. Got another Ready to Rumble. Okay. So this is a superpower. Actually, we do have a superpower. We can exhaust Deft Focus, and we'll throw out Captain Marvel to play another energy duplication. This again, I'm just gonna stack them because we have 2 of them. But this generates resources equal to whatever the icon is here. So that shouldn't really matter for most of our cards, but it could matter if you build your deck in a certain way. We have in hand. We can generate 1, 2, 3 to play Quinn Carrier, and then we can get a Ready to Rumble down. That means we won't fire Adam Warlock. Because Adam Warlock needs to discard a card from hand. We're going to be drawing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we don't need to use Adam Warlock this turn, but we definitely want to get rid of the aim grunt. So I do think we want to get the Quinn Carrier down, which could be 1, 2, 3. Then Quinn Carrier can play Ready to Rumble, and then we can just waste Adam Warlock value. I think like that's okay. I think we kind of just have to keep going here. So generate a mental, generate a mental. Throw this out. The Quinn Carrier comes into play. Mind you, we are an Avenger, so we can play this, and it generates a wild, which we'll spend for Ready to Rumble, which is a card we can discard to ready our hero after we've changed forms, which is quite nice. There's a lot of cool cards, or a lot of characters that have weird form change rules, not just Alter Ego. Adam Warlock will destroy the Aim Grunt. Can't do its text. We have no cards in hand. Aim Grunt is discarded. No more guard. And then here we can thwart for 3, which I guess we will. Otherwise, we waste our activation. And that's us. Hopefully Snow Guard, she's defeated before we cycle the deck, because then all our allies were ready to go. We draw Pulsar Shield. This is the one that allows us to defend. Not super important. Photon Shield for thwarting. Gamma Blast for damage. I do think we have 3 of each of these. I think our deck is like 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then Blue Marvel. The deck is like 5 unique cards, which is pretty strange for Marvel Champions. Strength for a double. And Falcon. Of course, everybody has wings around here. And Falcon just says after enters play, look at the top 3 cards in counter deck. For each treachery looked at this way, remove 1 threat from a scheme. So my guess is that we'll remove the threat on the main scheme, and then we'll flip Black Widow by changing into attack form. Ideally, we might need help from an ally, and then we want to do a big old Gamma Blast. 2. Black Widow attacks. 4. 2 and a card. We'll block with Snow Guard. Boost icons. 2 boost icons. We lost Master Plan, which is important. So that means she goes down to 1. She goes down to 1. And we draw on a counter card. Widow's Bite. No doubt this stuns us, right? After a minion enters play. Sorry, that's the real one. Fell into the trap. You are stunned. Take 1 damage. Or take 2 damage if you're stunned. Okay. Stunned is also annoying because a lot of our cards, like we do have cards that change form that are attacks. And if we can't land the attack, we can't change form. Sometimes Spectrum do be like that. Okay. We have so many research generators. We need to whiff a shitty attack into Black Widow because Black Widow will discard the top of the deck and it has no text, no preparation text. We'll get rid of the night vision goggles and take no damage. We can attack, get rid of the stun. This is really bad. Because we need to like thwart 3, but then we're attack. So maybe we actually have to do photon speed. If we do photon speed, we remove 4 threat. And then we can do an attack, a basic attack. And then we can do a Gamma Blast attack. And if we do that, we have a chance of doing damage, but it might be entirely canceled by Black Widow. I'm also not sure if we advance Black Widow. Do we add a bunch of threat? Yeah, when we advance Black Widow, we add 3 threat here, and then we'll be adding 3 threat around. So we have to make sure this is on nothing, because otherwise it'll be on 6 immediately, and if we hit an advance, we just lose the game. It's kind of hard that you don't want to advance Black Widow. That's something I've noticed in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. more than any other box. There's a whole bunch of like weird, like kind of these blind jumps that if you're not aware of them and you just like advance the villain and like pass the turn, there's like multiple scenarios where you can just lose out of nowhere. And this technically can be one of them when you're playing solo. Because again, if we leave threat on here, Black Widow adds 3, then she schemes for 3 in a card and a boost icon we could just lose. We'd have to get unlucky, but it's possible. Okay. I think that's what we do. I do think we do the photon speed thing. It says change to photon form. We're already in photon form, so you can't change to something you're in. And this just removes 4 threat. Yeah, okay. So we'll generate, for superpower, we'll generate mental. So remove threat. Don't have to care about the rest of the text. Now we're going to just attack with Spectrum to take the stun off. Then we're going to generate 1. We'll play 2, 3, 4 for Gamma Blast. So this is going to go through guaranteed. Yeah, actually, this goes through guaranteed. Change to Gamma Energy form, so we have to. When we change to Gamma Energy form, this is such a waste of damage. Hold on. There's no shot. This is such a waste of damage. No, we can plan this better. Because I think we can use Ready to Rumble. Because I just realized we're doing 7 damage into this, which can't be right. Because if we change the Gamma form, we already do 1 damage. So in theory, we want to drop Black Widow down to 1 health. The problem is we can't change form easily. Maybe we just play Falcon. Yeah, let's rewind this a bit. So we'll take photon speed back. So we're on 5 cards. There was 2 on here, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was 3. I'll just put 3. No, it was 2. It was 2. Yeah, because we cleaned it. So I think we just play Falcon. Because Falcon could clean this and then Falcon can attack Black Widow. That seems a lot better. Yo, Eric, how's it going? Happy Friday. Strength. 2 energy, and we'll play Falcon. Just about to be home, free for the weekend. You got plans? Or are you busy doing scoops related video production and audio production? After Falcon enters play, look at the top 3 cards in the counter deck. For each treachery, look this way, remove 1 threat. This also will tell us if we see something on top of the deck for night vision goggles. So first one is a treachery, it's covert ops. Second one is scheme. Third is a scheme. It's unlucky. We wanted 2 treacheries because now this only removes 1 threat. So that stinks. That's really, really bad. If we had 2 threat. Now that means we know we have this on the top, which is preparation, place 1 threat. Then we have 3 boost icons into an annoying side scheme. So I'll put those back on top face up. Okay. We wanted 1 more success there. That means we know if we attack with Falcon, Falcon will drop this to 0 and will advance Black Widow. So actually, maybe that's fine. So we'll attack with Falcon for 2. That says, Black Widow says, after you attack Black Widow, let me just show the text. When you attack Black Widow, remove 1 threat here and discard the top of the deck. If as a preparation, do its ability, and this preparation says place 1 threat in the main scheme. Now, that doesn't stop the attack, so we still do 2 damage to Black Widow, which advances Black Widow. That's good, because now we still have the threat card in hand, and we won't get it blown out the way that we're worried about we're getting blown out. Well, there's so many cards with word black. I should have typed Widow. Welcome to Black Widow 3. When revealed, place 3 threat on the main scheme, so it's on 4 of 10, and now we're placing 3 a turn, which is pretty ugly. Has 20 health and has the exact same text. Hey, Pat, how's it going? Last night, Pat and I played Brain Hand on JNet, and I swore a lot, which I feel like I might be swearing too much, but I think we didn't even notice they changed the default background on JNet. It's no longer the root. It's we played with like the system update characters, which also seems kind of strange, but we just could not tell that things were changing. Finally doing the next wave of Agents of Hate Deluxe box. All right. Cool. We have a lot of threat here, and we can deal with it. So I think we will deal with it. I think we're going to generate one for superpower. We're going to play Photon Speed, change up to Photon Energy form. We can't change to one that we're in. Remove 4 threat. We attack to get rid of our stun. I'm still okay with that. We're now holding, again, we know the next boost is going to be a lot of damage, so we'll just block with Snow Guard. We will deck out unless we keep 1 card. It's a comic that featured this character. Spectrum? So we don't want Pulsar Shield. We'll keep the Gamma Blast because it's a lot of damage. And we'll just pass. So our bottom of our deck has a bunch of allies, I'm pretty sure. So we'll draw Sunspot. This is an X-Force character that can do AoE massive damage. We have Power of Flight, which generates 2 resources for Aerial. That's great. We have another Power of Flight. Okay. Draw a 4-cost Aerial card. No, Power of Leadership. So we have all these resources and nothing to do with it. I just want to check what the last card is. Oh, it is a Speed of Light. So not even an ally. All right, Widow's Web says specifically you put threat on it equal to the stage number. So now we're putting 3 a turn, which is pretty frightening. So we just want to do 20 damage. Black Widow's now attacking for 2 in a card. We technically know the card has 3 boost icons. We'll block with Snow Guard. That does 5 damage. Snow Guard is defeated. And because she is dead, she doesn't get to do Retaliate. Now we draw a counter card. We know what this one is. Abduct Superhuman. This actually might be bad for us. Abduct Superhumans. Did I write this in wrong, or is this just a different scheme? Oh, I wrote it wrong. Surge, okay. Force Interrupt. When an ally leaves play, tuck it under here and place threat here equal to the cost. Then place 1 acceleration token on this. And it says put each ally, when defeated, tucked here into play under its owner's control. So in theory, you can fire like on play abilities more than once, but this is a card that just disincentivizes you from chump blocking, which I'm cool with those designs. Let's center this a bit. Our next card, another Surge card, Aim Scientist. I like this card a lot. Unfortunately, we're not going to be interacting with Vulnerable. Vulnerable is a new type of trait that a bunch of minions have in the set that says when they get stunned or confused, they're immediately deleted. So yeah, we need to deal with this. And when engaged players engage with another minion, we can't attack it. Hopefully, we're going to just do a massive amount of Gamma Blast and just absolutely nuke the Scientist. And then our next card is Dance of Death. This card is so cool. The first time I read it, I did not understand how it worked. Now, just to show you the history of this, Dance of Death was a card that they eventually reformatted. It looks better than this, technically, if you buy modern printing. It says, hero action, make the following 3 attacks in any order. This is when you play the Black Widow hero. Deal 1 damage to an enemy, deal 2 damage to an enemy, deal 3 damage to an enemy. That's 6 damage, and you can divide it, which is 3 for 6 is not fantastic, but the fact that it's divided is actually really quite good. Now, what's really cool is that a lot of the cards for this Black Widow are reprints of the original Black Widow cards. And so Dance of Death now says, when revealed, deal 1 damage to a character you control, deal 2 damage to a second character you control, and deal 3 damage to a third character you control. Which means if you're only the hero and there's no other characters, you just take 1 damage. But now you have to decide. We can take 2 damage to keep Falcon around, or we can kill Falcon to take 1 damage. It's really cool that this scales up very, very well. Now, because of Abduct Superhumans, we actually... So what does this say? When an ally leaves play, tuck it under here and place threat equal to its cost. So that will add 6 threat in total there, and we can't deal with 6 threat. So I think if that's the case, we'll take 1 to Falcon, 2 to our face. We're on 2, which is not good. We actually might need to jump down at some point. And that's us. I like the templating, tuck it under here. Yeah, that's not entirely new. I think we used to have cards that said stuff like that. This one doesn't say face down, which is cool, so you can tell the cost of it. Some of them said face down, but yeah, tuck is always fun. Okay, so we're still stuck in thwarting mode. This doesn't do anything. We have the aim scientist. We have Falcon to block. We're going to cycle through our deck in a second so that we're going to draw another encounter card, which means if Black Widow attacks twice, we're in a pretty bad spot. We have no healing. If we jump to pulsar mode, we could have healed the defense mode, but we don't have any of those icons. So I think we're just going to play Sunspot. Oh, you can do a really cool thing here with Sunspot, but actually I don't think it works. So check this out. Sunspot says, after you play Sunspot from your hand, choose a player, deal 1 damage to the villain, and each minion engaged with the chosen player for each energy resource used to play Sunspot. And we have 2 copies of the Power of Flight. And the Power of Flight says that if you're playing an aerial card, this generates 2 resources. Now that means we can't actually, from my understanding of the rules, I don't think we can play 2 Power Flights. Well, we can play 2 Power Flights to play Sunspot, but that doesn't mean that we generated 4 resources. It means technically we generated 3 resources because only the first 3 resources paid for the Power Flight, for a Sunspot, excuse me, and the last one overpaid. So it doesn't technically work, but it seems like you could be able to do a Sunspot Blast of 4, but we can do a Sunspot Blast of 3, which is totally fine. That leaves us with these 2 cards, which we can play, and we can threat 3 first here. I think that's going to be okay. If Falcon leaves, Falcon gets tucked under, so we might actually have... We might chump block with Falcon and feel the damage from that happening. What does Sunspot's text say? So Sunspot says, after you play Sunspot from your hand, choose a player, deal 1 damage to the villain and each minion with chosen player for each energy resource used to pay for Sunspot. In theory, you can only pay 3 for Sunspot. So as much as you can overpitch for cards, you don't actually overpay. I think there is a distinction there. So I think we will do that. We'll pay 4 and get Sunspot in. We'll choose ourselves. So we deal 3 damage to the villain and each minion engaged. So Sunspot's going to miss the cycle. That destroys the aim scientist. And this is not an attack, so we don't have to worry about Black Widow's text. That goes down. That means we can actually use Falcon to threat the Abduct Superhumans. That might be okay. That sounds about right. I know there are weird cards that have additional costs. Yeah, there's some cards that say you can pay additional cost on it, but I'm pretty sure you can't actually pay. You can spend, but you don't end up paying for it. Okay, so if that's the case, we'll thwart 3 on the Widow's Web. Now we can generate 1, generate 2, generate 3, and we'll play Gamma Blast. This means we're going to end up changing forms. So we can now change to Gamma form, which gives us +2 attack. And when you change this form, deal 1 damage to an enemy. And then we're just going to go ahead and deal 7 damage to an enemy. So we're going to Gamma Blast Black Widow. She doesn't have any threat, so we don't have to do night vision goggles. So this is 6, this is 7. We could die, but we're doing okay here. Then we'll use Falcon to thwart for 2. Clearing Abduct Superhumans. Falcon is defeated by consequential, goes into the bin. We're left with this card, which I don't really want to hold on to. We could ready ourselves with Ready to Rumble and deal 3 more damage, but I'm going to keep Ready to Rumble in case we draw some blocking stuff we need to do. But we did change form, so we can throw out Ready to Rumble to ready ourselves. It's going to basically trade it for 3 damage, which with Sunspot, we actually can put Black Widow on 4 health. But I don't think it's super important. I'd rather keep this for another turn where we have to do a lot of threading. Sunspot will attack for 2, though, because we're assuming we're going to block with Sunspot. Okay, that's it. We're going to draw 2 encounter cards. We're on 2 health. We're not in the blocking mode, so like things can go really bad. If we get 2 attacks, we're going to realize why people don't like Spectrum. First card that we draw is Speed of Light, which allows us to change forms. That means we can block, but we're still going to be blocking in Gamma form, which means we have 1 defense stat. We draw an encounter card because we decked out. I'm not sure what our nemesis is. I'm pretty sure our nemesis is Radioactive Man. think he just has Radioactive Man's text. Anytime Radioactive Man shows up, Radioactive Man has the same text, which is like at the end of the turn, do 1 AoE to everybody, which is like fun text. All right, what else we got? Power of Flight, okay. Pulsar Shield, good, that's super important. That is the card that allows us to defend, let alone heal 1. So if things go bad, and even if things aren't too bad, we can just play that. But we have no problem blocking with Sunspot. Adam Warlock, which we can set up some healing by discarding a wild card. And we have another Ready to Rumble, so we're punished for not using this one. We could have done 3 more damage. Beans. Widow's Web gets 3. Black Widow is attacking for 2 and a card. We'll chump block with Sunspot. So that's going to be 4. That's another Dance of Death. So that's a very bad draw for us. Yeah, luckily now it only does 1 damage, but I don't think there's more than 2. We draw 2 encounter cards. Our first encounter card is Covert Ops. Believe this is a scheme, isn't it? Other Covert Ops. Gotta remember, we're not falling for that. You are confused. Black Widow schemes. Okay. So Black Widow scheming for 4 and a card. So if we draw 3 boost, we just lose the game. That's sometimes how it solo is. 1 boost, Sinister Strike. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're on 8. Yeah, playing solo is pretty punishing. We might want to just like push Black Widow here. So there's a not unlikely chance we lose here. It's Aim Soldier. Uh-oh, that has Patrol. That's really bad for us because Patrol means we can't take threat off the main scheme. And when revealed, we just put the Aim Scientist into play Engage with you. And the Aim Scientist has an acceleration icon. We can't attack the Aim Scientist while we have another minion engage with us, but it doesn't actually do anything besides the acceleration icon. So that is a problem because we do not like being confused and we do not like this. So notably, what is the text on Patrol? I keep forgetting this game is even multiplayer. I like 2 players a lot. I think 2 players is really cool because you actually can specialize a bit more and then you can like plan your turns and like help each other out and you feel like you're cooperating. You also can just like jump down to alter ego whenever you want, largely as long as the other person doesn't. But solo, obviously, you got your own concerns for sure. Like we basically have no chance of dropping down to alter ego. This is going to add 3 a turn, so we have to take at least 2 off of this, but that means we have to deal with the Aim Soldier. I just want to check the... Because the wording on Patrol, I'm not sure if it's a you thing. It's all cards you control. What does Patrol say? While a minion with Patrol is engaged with a player, that player cannot use cards they control to thwart the main scheme. Now, thwart, Adam Warlock says, remove 3 threat from a scheme. I'd say that's not a thwart ability. Does anybody want to enter court with me? I don't think that's a thwart ability. I'm not sure if I'm correct. All right, so we can attack for 3, defeating Aim Soldier, and then we can change form Ready and draw a card and use Ready to Rumble, which will be pretty sick. Oh, we have to remove more because of the Aim Scientist. So we will just attack for 3, defeating the Aim Soldier. Gone. Now we can play Speed of Light, which says we can change forms and draw cards. So we'll change to the thwarting form. Oh, but we are exhausted. Hold on. We have no damage in our hand. We need to draw a good card here. Do we do this? We just can't thwart, so why would we change to the thwarting form? In case we draw a thwart card, we have like 3 thwart cards in here. We also could have just thwarted for 1 instead of defeating the Aim Soldier. Like, hold on. Is there any way that we defeat the Aim Soldier? Like, we can just attack. We can thwart for 1, eat the confuse. Then we can ready. Change forms to thwart. No, that's bad too. I've only played the solo. It seems like duo would be good. 4 players might be a long time, but it's also not a bad thing. Yeah, it's for what it's worth. I do think 4 players is too many. I played some 3-player games and it's just like the numbers get big. But it's cool that you can do things like I will be the one person who fights all the minions. So like you play what's her name? Valkyrie and have a good time, which like you can't really say that about solo all the time. Yeah, Ready to Rumble is okay, but the problem is we have to change forms, and that means we have to change this. Like, we definitely Ready to Rumble, but say that we do attack for 3, then we ready for Rumble, we thwart for 1, our thwart is canceled. We can play Adam Warlock, but the only cards we have in hand are all energy resources, which means Adam Warlock needs a physical resource or the Speed of Light. Like, this is the issue. If we use the Speed of Light, we're drawing the top card of the deck and hoping the top card of the deck is a resource we need it to be. Because otherwise we have only energy resources. I think our deck has more energy resources than anything else, but we could just lose if we don't plan this turn properly. Not 100% sure what we're meant to do here, because it's all dependent on what's on the top of the deck. And we have obviously very little information to work with. It's the whole damn deck. So what can we do that guarantees things? Again, we need a physical resource to remove 3 threat. We need a physical resource. So we can always like play Adam Warlock, throw out Speed of Light, remove 3. So then Black Widow will put 3 more. We'll be on 8, 9 with Aim Scientist. And we just have to hope that we don't get a scheme. That's an option. So we could do attack. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think ultimately that's okay. But then do we play Speed of Light? Like, it's wild, but the chance of the top card being a physical is obviously not that good, but we need it to be a physical, otherwise we're cooked. I think we can't play Speed of Light. I'm pretty sure we can't play it. We can't do 2 changes. Mind you, Ready to Rumble says limit 1 per player, max 1 per player, so it's not like we can play 2. But if we change forms and then Ready to Rumble, the best thing would be if the top card deck, like there's a world where we top deck a card and the card that we top deck is not Pulsar Shield, but one of the other ones that allows us to change forms, which there is 8 more of those in the deck of like 32 cards or something. Yikes. Man, it's really important. If we knew what this is, we could make a good decision. Unfortunately, we can't. So I think we have to do the thing that's safe. I think we don't play Speed of Light and just use it for Adam. So we'll generate 1, 2. Adam Warlock on the screen already. Nice. Comes in with 3. We'll attack for 3, defeating Aim Soldier because we're in Gamma form. This sleeve good? Yeah, it's good. Adam Warlock will. Oh, we have to get rid of our hand too because it's discard a random card. Holy shit. Wait, we can't even get rid of these cards. So that means we're not going to use Queen Carrier. We're going to pitch with the Pulsar Shield because we need to get our hand down. Oh my god, hold on. That is so cursed. We need to get beat this. This needs to be random. Oh my god. This is going to come down to 50-50 if we lose the game. Because Adam Warlock discards a random card and we can't play this. And we could pitch it, but the other card we keep in our hand is also lightning. So we can overpitch? Yeah, we can overpitch. We're allowed to overpitch. We can do 1, 2, 3, 4. That is allowed. So we've overpitched for Adam Warlock so that we only have this card in our hand. Adam Warlock will thwart for 2. Bring this down to 7. We'll discard a random card from our hand, which is wild. So we can choose one of the above. So we'll remove 3 threat from a scheme. So this goes down to 4. We are still confused. We're pretty injured. We wasted a whole bunch of resources. And we'll just ready up. Top card was too physical. We would have been able to do it. Not that the turn would have been that much better, but yeah, we could have done that. We had no idea what the top of the deck is, but it was actually physicals. And this is discard 1 at random from your hand if that card's printed resource has. So it doesn't care if it has double. In theory, you could like play Adam Warlock in Jubilee and some of those cards, or even in the energy guy Bishop, and some of those cards have 2 resources types, which is so cool. Pulsar Shield, okay, that's good in a pinch. We probably have to end up playing that because that heals and blocks. We'll see what the threat situation is. Helicarrier. We would love another change form, Power of Flight, and Blue Marvel. Blue Marvel's a change form. That's good because then we can change form and Ready to Rumble. So that means we can block, do a minor attack, ready, thwart 3. We'll definitely have to thwart a lot. Yeah, this is pretty hard to get 3 a turn. So this goes to 7. Black Widow now attacking for 2 and a card. Oh, sorry, it goes to 8 because we have an acceleration here. Black Widow attacks for 2 and a card. We will generate, can't use this. We'll generate one of these for Pulsar Shield. Oops. So Pulsar form is that form. So after you change this heal 1 damage, we'll do that. Pulsar Shield says, basically, we play this when we defend, so we will defend. We now get +3 block because we're in Pulsar mode. And when we're in Pulsar mode, we heal 1 and we get +3 block and we're ready. So we're blocking for 3. This is 2 and a card. 1 boost icon, we take no damage. Aim Scientist attacks, nothing happens. This would have gave us Retaliate to the end of the phase. Actually would have been okay, but we weren't in that mode. And our encounter card is Drawing Near. That's kind of fine. This one's going to be harder to deal with, but because we can't really flip down to Alter Ego. But this is an obligation. It says after your turn begins, discard the top card of your deck. This is 1 resource. So we put 1 counter on this. When this hits 4, we get our Nemesis. Okay, back to us. We are ready. We can definitely use Ready to Rumble. Adam Warlock, we have all options in our hand. We definitely want to play Blue Marvel, so we're going to keep the Helicarrier. So if that's the case, what do we do here? We have 1 attack, 1 thwart. We are confused. I'm assuming we just want to thwart to get rid of the confuse. Then we will spend 1, 2, Actually, we could just like end up playing the helicarrier here. I don't see why not. So we'll generate 1, we'll generate 2, 3, and we'll play the helicarrier. This just generates a resource a turn. It says action. The next card you play reduce its cost by 1. So we'll reduce the next cost by 1. We'll generate a resource. Oh, we can't do it. Oh, we actually can't do it. Unless this is our hand. Wait, we used one of these for the block card. Because we need to have a card in our hand at the end of the day because of Adam Warlock. So if we want to play 1, 2, 3 for this, and we play 1, 2, 3 for Quinn Carrier, we won't have an Adam Warlock card. So we're just going to give up on the Quinn Helicarrier. I think that's fine. So if that's the case, we'll pitch 1, 2, 3, 4 for Blue Marvel. When Blue Marvel comes into play, change forms. So we're going to change some forms. This is another character I know very little about. I know mostly from Marvel Snap. So what form are we going to change into? We can do the 1 damage form, so Adam Warlock can finish this. I'm pretty sure we're going to go into the thwart form, because obviously 3 thwart a turn is ridiculous. And once we change to photon form, remove 1 threat from a scheme. Again, we're adding 4 a turn because of the aim scientist, which we are going to be able to deal with here. So Adam Warlock will thwart for 1. Discard a random card from your hand. We'll discard a physical resource, which removes 3 threat. This goes down to 3. Blue Marvel will just defeat the aim scientist. And we are... I think we're back. We're kind of back. Pulling in our nemesis would be bad, which drawing near we can't deal with anytime soon. We have no confuse. We have no status icons, which means flipping down is really difficult. I think we probably have to put some sort of confusion cards, but I'm not sure if leadership has any confusion cards because otherwise we cannot flip down. And playing solo, it's really hard to do something like this because you need confuse. Photon speed, that's good. It removes a bunch of threat. Snow guard, okay. Good blocker. We've enjoyed her. Power of flight. Photon speed again. Photon speed 3 times. Oh, we have to get rid of this. Excuse me. We use ready to rumble on that turn. Okay. This goes up to 6. Black Widow attacks for 2 and a card. This could kill us if we block for 1. So we have to block with Adam Warlock, which is a bummer. We would love to use Adam Warlock for healing. This seems like the turn that we can use Adam Warlock for healing. I actually think that Blue Marvel is a better blocker because Adam Warlock, we have a lot of science icons in our hand, and science is, or mental is deal 3 damage. Lightning energy is to heal 3. And I think we definitely want to heal 3. So I'm going to block with Blue Marvel, even though Blue Marvel has more stats and health. 4 damage, exhaustion. Blue Marvel is defeated. Card is aim commando. Shit. This has quick strike. Coming in. It's going to attack for 2. I don't think we're going to block for 1, so we're just going to take 2. I'm understanding why people get frustrated with Spectrum. I feel like we don't have a lot of control over things. Drawing nearer, we discard the top card of the deck. It is 2 resources. We draw our nemesis. Yeah, we're cooked, fam. This is pretty bad. Radioactive Man comes into play. Forced, after Radioactive Man activates against you, deal 1 damage to each character you control. Oh, it's funny. I read the exact same stats, but that is not the right one. This is the right one. It has 1 less health. That's not good. Our side scheme is Reactor Meltdown. It has a crisis on it, so we're in a really bad spot. As much as we can ignore this sometimes. So this comes in with only 2. And it says, when defeated, deal 1 damage to each friendly character you play. That's kind of cool theme. You have to go in and shut down the reactor, and you get hurt. The problem is if we clear that, we die. The problem is if we deal with the Reactor Meltdown, it defeats us because we have 1 health. Yo, this deck is not good for solo, I don't think. Uh-oh. What do we do here? What do we do? If we don't deal with Radioactive Man, we take a damage. If we don't do a Reactor Meltdown, well, this goes to 4. It goes to 9, actually, so we're okay, technically. To some extent of the word okay. That was really bad that I hit a double. Our deck has a lot of doubles, but these are the only ones that have true doubles, because all the other ones say, like, gain a double if you're doing something specific, like playing an aerial card or a leadership card. Oh, boy. We have all the photon speeds in the world, but if we play this photon speed to clear Reactor Meltdown, we lose. That being said, photon speed has good text here. Because photon speed says that if you're in this form, when you play it, and we are in the form it wants from us, we can remove, we can ignore the crisis icon. So we can just drop this down to 2. Radioactive Man schemes for 1, Aim Commando schemes for 1, Black Widow schemes for 4 on a card, and we put 3 here. So every round we put 7. At a minimum, okay, every round we put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We put 9 on here every round. Like, how are you meant to jump down in solo? I feel like, yeah, Some of that is night vision goggles and 2 allies, but even like every turn, this puts 6. Like, what are you meant to do when you put 6 a turn on it? How are you meant to jump down? Unless you have confuse. Oh, these cards go into the deck, excuse me. They're the radioactive man cards. And some of these just say after your turn ends, take a damage. One says when revealed, hero takes 2 damage. So we can also just like die out of nowhere from this deck. I'm not feeling so good about this one. So Adam Warlock, we can heal 3. I think we need to heal 3. I think we need to heal 3, which means we need to discard an energy, which we can make that work. Confuse carried me on Expert for Black Widow. Yeah. Again, when I played Maria, like I've played already through this campaign on Expert, and like you play Maria, Black Widow never activates. And it's just like, are we playing Marvel Champions at that point? But yeah, Confuse is really strong. Status effects are really, really strong in this box. I don't think anyone has Stalwart. And obviously the minions care about it. Yeah, I think we're cornered here. So we need to keep an energy icon in our hand, so we'll keep Power Flight, I think. Snowguard can thwart for 3, which is pretty good. I think we need Snowguard to attack for 4, though. The issue is if we play Snowguard or use Power Flight, we'll have no more icons for Adam Warlock to heal. And I think we need Adam Warlock to heal. So let's just start by playing 1, 2 for Photon Speed. We'll remove 4 threat, and because we're energy form, we can ignore the Crisis icon here, so we can drop this to 2. Okay. We can't spread it. No, 4 threat from us game. We can't spread it. Okay. That's no good. So what are we doing? What are we doing? We need to heal because radioactive man otherwise will flatline us, and we can't jump down. So we can always... We can play another Photon Speed. We also have to get cards out of our hand, which is actually really important. So we might not be able to play another Photon Speed. We just have to do this just so that we randomly always hit this. Because if we want to play 2 Photon Speeds, one of them could be played for free. Then the other one would be all our cards. So we can't. We need to keep 1 card in hand. Ugly. What do we do with Adam? What do we do with ourselves? I want to change forms. This says deal 1 damage to each friendly character. So it's not every character, it's friendly character. Some of them is like every character. But Radioactive Man apparently can discern. Okay, so we will Photon Speed plus these 2 to remove 4. So we'll just clean this. Then Adam Warlock attacks or thwarts. We will... Not actually sure. We could do 1 on this, but it seems kind of silly because we thwart for 3. So I guess we'll do 1 damage to Radioactive Man. We'll do the aim commando. Maybe a minion or ally we draw defeats this. And then we'll discard a random card. It has energy. So we can heal 3 damage from an identity. So we're up to healthy 4. Adam Warlock is defeated. Too consequential. Spectrum will thwart for... This is bad. When you don't have control about what your form you're in, and then you draw 2 minions. This is exactly why I think people don't like Spectrum. Unless we played like Leadership and played like Sonic Rifle and had a bit more control. Yeah, we just don't consistently have damage. Or really anything. So I guess we threat this, but this feels silly because then we end up taking damage. So maybe we just attack for 1. I don't like how this is going. Okay, we'll draw an Air Supremacy. Oh, that would have been so good. This would have done a cheap 6 damage, which would be nice. We have a Gamma Blast. That's good damage. We have Soaring Acrobatics, which gives us +1 to any abilities. We didn't get this down on our first run through the deck. We probably should have. This actually really helps on our off turns when we're in the bad form. Power of Leadership, which can work on the Air Supremacy. And then we have another Gamma Blast. So at least if we survive this turn, we have a lot of damage, which will clean the table up. I'm not convinced we're going to survive this turn, though. Yeah, it's almost no shot we survive this turn. So this goes to 3. Black Widow attacks for 2 and a card. Yeah, we're dead. Yeah, we're totally dead. So it doesn't matter. 2 boost icons, that's 4 damage. We're dead. All right, I would say that wasn't close. That actually got really, really bad, really, really quick. Drawing our Nemesis was obviously not good, but even outside of the Nemesis space, actually outside of the Nemesis space, if we just drew a Gamma Blast, we could have just sent it to Black Widow. We have to rip the top and hope that it has preparation. After this attack, plus minion played to gauge with you. Yeah, so maybe we could have got there. The problem is if it was like a what's it called? Non-preparation, it just cancels the attack and gets rid of the goggles. All right, let's run it back. I wonder if we also need to be playing something that gives us more card draw, like just actually play the Avengers Mansion, because just having more cards gives us a bigger chance of getting out of our modes, and our forms are obviously like, if they're not good, they're not good. Yeah, so we could have blocked there. We would have blocked for 1, but even if we block for 1, like we get attacked for 4 more damage functionally. Okay, let's clean this up. This, we have to remove all the radioactive man cards, and we'll just run it back. Green, that is a different shade of green. Cool. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. All right. We'll flip Black Widows. We'll start with Black Widow 2. 16 health. Really, really bad, really fast is my Neverwinter strat. Sometimes it's really bad slowly. And that's the problem, is if you can't tell it's really bad slowly, I think there's a lot of decks that are really bad slowly. But really bad really fast. At least it's fun. At least you're going somewhere. All right, this should start with 4 because we put 2 on it when we flip it, and 2 on it because that's what Black Widow says, and we'll try again. Drawing near goes back into the deck. I felt like we set up. I wonder if we have to play more cards like Kalu and things that allow us to look at the top card of it. Like more cards that allow us to search for events. Because having the right event at the right time causes Monica not to get stuck in lock. I think I've seen other decks online too that are playing things like ways that you can discard your allies to get boosted stats. Like the bunch of those cards came out recently that said like discard an ally, gain stats equal to their numbers, and heal yourself. And that's also another cool way that if you're in a bad situation, you can suddenly like heal yourself and get back into the fight. It means on a turn where you have 1 stat, technically you can have like 2 or 3 stat, which is kind of what you need. You need flexibility. So I could see a couple ways going. I think another way is like playing cards like, I think Kalu is one of them, which is like search your deck for an event. I do think and I've never actually played her in a deck before, but what's the name of the character that was the person you were protecting in, was it Next Evolution? When you play her, you can search your deck for your superpower, and all of our form changing cards, I believe, are superpowers. That's also very powerful, as much as she's a 4-cost card and she's not aerial. I think the worst part so far is that the aerial synergy that we're playing in this deck, aerial supremacy, we haven't played once. And on some board states, it would have been okay. Oh, we meant to put an ally in play. So we put an out. Vivian's in there. Vivian. Let's go ahead and put the same aim abductor into play. Is there anything smaller we can put into play? We could do the aim soldier, which has patrol. It's 3 health. That actually might be easier to deal with. But I don't want to deal with the aim abductor later. Any of these setups that say like pull 1 minion into play, I feel like every time I play the scenario, I always grab the same minion. So it gets a bit boring, but I guess we'll start there. Poetic, thank you. Hope Summers. Yeah, Hope Summers is the one that I would consider playing as well, because I think she allows you to search for your superpower. And we just need that sort of like flexibility, and we play superpowers cheaply every turn, so it's nice to have that superpower turn. She's expensive though. Her stats are not bad. I think she's like 2 attack, 2 thwart, 1 consequential, maybe 3 health for 4. Does she gain her traits? Like, does she become aerial? Wait, does she gain her traits? Maybe she should be played. Excuse me. Oh, wait, why am I doing this? If I didn't set up this, Hope Summers. She gains each trait on your identity. After you play Hope Summers from your hand, search your deck for a superpower and add it to your hand. 4 is a lot, but those are good numbers, and that's a good text, and she will also be aerial, which I don't think we have to care that every card's an aerial. The only problem is that, wait, they did in her FAQ. Does she have those traits while she's in her hand, or only when she's on the table? I know that they answered that because people obviously are going to ask that question. Does she have the traits while she's in her hand? If she does, that means we can actually make her cheaper. We're 40 cards. I assume we want to take something out. Is it our aerial payoff cards? It might honestly be. I think we're also learning that we don't want to be too, with multiple copies of Ready to Rumble, we don't want to be too precious with them. Playing 41 seems cursed because we need to get our cards. I'll get rid of the helicarrier. I think we have enough resource generators. We'll see if that's not the case. Especially because we just added a very expensive card. Okay, let's give it another shot. Yeah, the setup doesn't make it that easy to check the internet, but I think whether she has the traits on the table or in her hand, that's gonna really matter. I imagine that came up when you were like playing Cannonball, who in Angel says like Cannonball takes minus consequential for each card in the hand with the aerial trait. The question is whether Hope lands for that or not. I have no doubt people have asked that question. All right. Energy duplication, that's nice. Get that done early. It's a superpower. Pulsar Shield, we don't need. Hate to draw this early, but it's the blocking card. Speed of Light is also a card we don't really need to keep. Technically, it doesn't have like negative value. It's a cantrip, which is fine. But in theory, because you change forms, you can always like do 1 thwart. So it's basically a cantrip that says do 1 damage or take 1 thwart, which like do 1 damage for aim abductors is fine, but we don't need it. Photon Speed, we can take 4 threat off the main scheme. It has 4 on it, so we could easily keep that if we wanted to. We might just do that, and then we could Speed of Light to do damage. Yeah, that could be fun. Quinn Carrier, definitely want to get that down early. 1 resource a turn, so if we draw a double, we don't. We draw a Vivian. So what do we want? We don't want this. I don't think we want Vivian. So if we draw 2 more cards, if we get lucky, we play a double on Energy Duplication. Energy Duplication is just better than Quinn Carrier. Well, unless we care about certain resource types, which so far we haven't. So if we play 1/2 for that, then this plus a card plays Photon Speed. That removes 5 threat. Do we need Speed of Light? I don't think we need Speed of Light. I think we'd rather just... We probably don't keep Quinn Carrier too. We'd have to draw like 2 doubles for that to be playable. Right? Because we double plus a card play Quinn Carrier. Then we could double play that. So we double Energy Duplication and a double to play Quinn Carrier. Then Quinn Carrier plus a card to play Photon Speed. I think that's fine. Hey, Gilhar, catching up the stream. Maybe you could have rushed the last 7 damage 3 or 4 turns before the end. I think we could have. I think that's what I'm coming down to, is that we probably should just have pushed it, because staying on Black Widow 3, like we probably should have set up and then done Black Widow 3 in 1 or 2 turns. The issue is like Black Widow 3 had the goggles, which every attack has a non-insignificant chance to do no damage. So we had to do a small attack first to remove the goggles, hopefully, and then once the goggles are off, we can just send the damage. But there's also a bunch of cards, because there's threat on the scheme, that every time we attack her, we remove threat, and one of those cards could just say this attack does no damage, which there's a couple of them. So it's kind of hard. She has anti-rush technology. I think holding Quinn Carrier is a bit much. Okay, Soaring Acrobatics, give us a double. Don't give us a 5-cost card. Oh, that's terrible. That's a really, really, really bad hand. Our deck has so many doubles. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8? I thought it'd be more. No, we have 8. We have 8 doubles. We didn't draw any of them. That's also like, it compounds. It's kind of like, it's weird. This is not like Netrunner where you have like fixing draw issues, right? Like in Netrunner, say that you flood up and you have a whole bunch of agendas. That's okay, because your next draw is unlikely to be an agenda. But now we actually have the problem where our next draws are likely to be only resources. And unfortunately, resources next to resources is also a very bad hand. So it's weird. It's like you always want to draw the right ratio, because as soon as you start drawing no resources, then you draw a hand with only resources, and they're both equally bad. So this is not great. We might have wanted mulligan the Quinn Carrier to play around this, but with 8 doubles, I thought, how bad can this be? All right, this is our hand. We can't get another card. We can flip up. I think this means that we just end up playing Energy Duplication and Photon, which this will cost 1, 2, 3 cards, which leaves us with 1 card we can hold. I'll hold the Quinn Carrier, I think. Actually, maybe we'll like learn our lesson and keep Soaring Acrobatics, because it just seems more important. This card's really, really cool. And I do think we just need to be able to thwart for 2 on turns where we can't thwart for 2. So if that's the case, we will pitch 2 cards to play Energy Duplication. This generates a resource as long as we have an energy type on our thing. Nope. Yep. Now we'll flip up. Monica says when you become a hero, choose one of the 3 forms to go into. I think here we're going to go into damage form, so we'll go Gamma form. After you change to this energy form, deal damage to an enemy. Then Spectrum will attack for 3, defeating Aim Abductor. These are still in our hand. We'll generate a physical to plan Gamma Blast to play Photon Speed. This kind of means that we're going to be stuck in maybe stuck in the other mode. So this says change to photon energy form. This gives us +2 thwart, and it says after you change to this form, remove a threat from the scheme, which is kind of useless, and then remove 4 threat from a scheme. We're just going to hold on to Soaring Acrobatics. Not the worst, but we're going to take a big attack here. Let's see what we got. Falcon for 4, very expensive. After this enters play, after Falcon attacks or thwarts, spend an energy resource to ready another champion. This is the only champion we have so far. There's one of our doubles. There's Snow Guard, pretty good card. I've been enjoying Snow Guard. And another double, but only for aerial cards, which Snow Guard isn't an aerial. So if that's the case, we can play 4 for Falcon, 1, 2 for Soaring Acrobatics. That might just be our turn. This is, again, where Spectrum is frustrating because we're not in the defense mode, in Pulsar mode. So we just, blocking is not an option. Blocking for 1 is just nonsense. So we're just going to have to take the damage here. 2 in a card. No block. 2 boost icons. This is the first card we discarded last game too. We'll take 4. So we're down to 8. That's the exact same start as last round. 8 is 4. No, we'd be on 7. Excuse me. Encounter card. Attack Acrobatics. Again, is this the same step as last time too? Because I remember I don't have this added. I need to add it. I don't know why. When revealed, if you're in alter ego form, change to hero form. Black Widow attacks you. Give her an additional boost icon for this. We might just die. It's not impossible that we just die here. So she attacks us for 2 and 2 cards. Blocking for 1 is just so silly here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Give us 3 boosts. 5, 6, 7. We die. Are you kidding me? Did we read that right? If you're in alter ego form, change to hero form. Black Widow attacks you, giving it a additional boost card. We just took 11 damage on turn 1. Blocking for 1 would have kept us alive. The chance of drawing 5 boosts is not that high, so I don't think it was right to block for 5. But the fact that we have 1 defense stat, and imagine we did block. We're on 1 health. Like, what do we do? Jump down? Run it back. Oh my god. I don't think this is proof of it, but I felt like in on average, this block for solo is a bit weird. But like getting attacked with 2 boost icons, that does show up in a couple encounters. That's for sure. That's not like unheard of. But that's like, yeah, that's not good for us. That's for sure. I don't think the average boost in this deck is actually that high. All right. One more shot before we retire Spectrum and just play something else. We're on 11. The thing is, I'm not sure what we're learning. Like, I really want to be learning every time that we fail. I don't know what we learned there. I think that was just maybe bad luck. We have to get a minion. I think the minion we got was still fine. Maybe we don't have to worry about it. We could have done something with 1 fewer health, but it's not like we're doing that much on turn 1. If we sink 4 damage into this or 4 damage to Black Widow, it doesn't change that turn. Because we can clear the threat off of the Widow's Web, no problem. Okay. Last time that we did that, it was like round 2, I think, and we blocked with a minion, or an ally, excuse me. I always say ally when I meant to say minion and vice versa. An employee. We'll try it again. I think that might be the shortest game of Marvel Champions I've ever played, barring like talking through everything. I don't think I've died on turn 1 in Marvel Champions ever. Good to get that on tape, I guess. All right, let's run it back. 6 hand size, 11 health. Yeah, that was 7 damage into 4 damage. Yeah, that's 11. Good. Speed of Light, not super useful. This allows us to change form, draw a card. Energy Duplication, we almost always keep that. It's totally fine. It costs 1 fewer resource on turn 1. We'll definitely use it. Quinn Carrier, that's in the middle. That is kind of expensive. Cloud9, maybe we just need an ally to chump block. Maybe we do. Not a very important ally, but it's nice to get down because it gives us some flexibility so we can always threat even if we're not in the right mode. And then Cloud9 can stay around forever, which is kind of cool. 5th card, Def Focus, definitely want that. This generates a resource for superpowers. And mind you, Energy Duplication is a superpower. So we can spend 1 for this, which saves 1 off of this, which allows you to set up really aggressively. And last card is Pulsar Shield, which is one of our blocking cards, which we don't care about. So we probably don't keep these. So let's just plan it. If we play 1 for Def Focus plus 1 card plays Energy Duplication, and then it functionally leaves us 3 resources left. 1 here, 2 on here. That means we could actually play Cloud9, but I don't think Cloud9 is the first card we want to play. It also means we could play Quinn Carrier, but I think that we just have stuff on the table to do, so I don't think we want to keep these. I want to draw into something that does 4 threat or does some damage. So we'll just keep these 2 for a start. If we draw a double, it doesn't really change energy duplication unless we find something else to play with Deft Focus. A double for an aerial card. An aerial card. This is a good combination. Power Flight and Sunspot's actually really quite good. Falcon is another. Again, after Falcon enters, or Falcon does a basic attack, you can, or any activation, you can ready another champion. Unfortunately, that's our only champion we have. And then we have Hope Summers. Ooh, so we actually could play Hope. I, again, do not know if she's considered to have aerial when she's in her hand or not, which actually changes whether Power Flight can pay for her. I should do a quick Google, actually, because that's going to frustrate me. Where's my phone at? Here it is. It's weird. Wait, I'm in front of a computer. Why would I use my phone? Can Power of Flight pay for Hope Summers Marvel Champions? Hope Summers has the Hope Summers gains each trait. Is also in case when she's in your hand or only when she's on the board. Need to know for team building exercise. The top response says it's only when she's in play, so sadly no team building exercise for her. But any card that says after you play a trait ally will trigger, so apparently it doesn't work. When are constant abilities on Eva and Hope Summers ally in effect if they're in your hand? No, these cards must be in play for your constant abilities. Okay, it's good to know. So we don't get to be able to do the cool thing where they're only, yeah, it only matters when they're in play. It looks like a static ability. So that means we cannot make her, we cannot pay Power of Flight. Ultimately, that's okay. But it's just good to know. So that means we're probably going to end up playing Sunspot. So we will play Falcon for Deft Focus. Great. Now this is a hero ability, so we have to flip up to continue our line. Yeah, this is fine. Ooh, this actually is going to matter because this actually cares about the type. So which of their modes has an energy icon? Oh, it's a defense one. Okay, never mind. We don't want to do that. So that means we're going to flip up to, I think we're going to do the thwarting mode. So we'll flip up. We got to choose which mode we want to be in. So we're going to pick Photon. Photon says after you change this form, remove 1 threat from a scheme. So we can clear that. Now we'll spend 1 on Deft Focus to reduce the cost of the next superpower. We'll pitch Hope Summers for energy duplication. This is a Spectrum card. Not this one. I really feel like I need to put this keyboard on my lap or something. So then we can generate 1 resource here, 2/3 from a Power of Flight to play Sunspot. When Sunspot comes into play, it says for every energy icon you use to play Sunspot, you can do a damage to everything engaged with 1 player. So we spent 2 because Power of Flight generates 2 energy for an aerial character. So that means we did 2 here, 2 here. That's perfect because now Sunspot can activate. Only has 2 health, so now it's on 1 health to defeat the aim abductor. And then we can thwart for 3. All right, we have an ally on turn 1, we'll pass, which means that if we do get an absurd attack acrobatics, we can just block, which seems like a good start. Another Power of Flight. Vivian, which we can play for free. Vivian blanks text boxes on cards for 1 turn. Snow Guard seems great, but not aerial traded, so we can't Power of Flight it immediately. Power of Leadership has no targets. Power of Flight. So, holy crap, really bad. These Power of Flights can play Vivian. This Power of Flight can't play anything. This Power of Leadership is blank. Is the deck bad or are we bad? 2 threat, Black Widow attacks for 2 and a card. We have no form changing in our hand, unfortunately. So we're just going to go ahead and take this because blocking for 1 is nonsense. And we can keep Sunspot for a bigger attack if it shows up. 1 boost icon, it's nabbed. So we take 3 damage. We go down to 8. And our encounter card is Abduct Superhumans. This has Surge. We've seen this one before. So this one says after an ally leaves play, tuck it under here and place threat equal to its cost. So leaves play is anything. So defeated by consequential, chump blocking, as long as it isn't discarded straight from hand, it should go underneath here. And then we can get those allies back. They get tucked into play. So if you're good at thwarting, this is actually a nice way to basically heal your allies, which is kind of cool. It has 2 threat on it, but it does have Surge. So we're going to draw a card that actually does something. Loss of control. Uh-oh. This is going to be hard to deal with in solo. This actually can be game losing if we draw in the wrong times. So this is our obligation. So it goes in front of us and it says, give to Monica Rambeau player. You cannot change energy forms and you have to exhaust an alter ego to remove this, which means we might just have to like jump down here because I'm not convinced we have ability to deal with this. Maybe we need to choose between the resource generators and resource cards when deck building. Seems like you have too many of both. I think we definitely have both. I think the ratios are not like totally garbage. The problem is like, this is a card that lines up with so many cards. This is like, we can brick. That's the problem. The thing is, like, once we're set up, the second pass of the deck, then it's more focused to be on allies and resources. But yeah, this doesn't feel good. That's for sure. Hey, Ken, how's it going? Picking up Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. box this weekend and playing Monday. Yo, I didn't know you played Marvel Champions. I probably should have known that. Enjoy it. Let me know your feedback, actually, if you want. It seems like a bit of a divisive box. I'm at least happy in Canada we have gotten it. I wonder if expectations were high because it was a bit of a fight to get. I just feel like also the deck, Galeheart, like our payoff for having Aerial doesn't seem to be particularly strong. I think that's an issue. I feel like Justice, Protection, also I like their Aerial cards a bit better, but the AoE Aerial damage card is like, it's soft. Just started playing kind of recently. Oh, cool. What have you enjoyed so far? Like what heroes or what boxes have you liked? I like that she can hold that orb perfectly. Okay, we're gonna flip down and then we're gonna remove this by exhausting Monica. So we have to keep Monica ready or Spectrum ready. That's annoying. So this will go on 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's not likely we'll thread out even if we do nothing. That means we can generate 1, 2, 3. So if this hand's also annoying because we can either play Vivian or play Snowguard. We can't play both. If that's the case, after Vivian enters play, choose an attachment, non-elite minion, or non-permanent side scheme until the end of the round. Treat the card's text box if it were blank. Oh, that's kind of cool. We can blank this. Hey, Supernat, hola, how's it going? I don't know if I've said hi. I feel like I might have. So we can keep Vivian. We can generate 1, 2, 3, 4, and play Snowguard. I think we have to do that. The question is what we're doing with Snowguard. Because Snowguard, you pick a form. Either we can give Snowguard attack, we can give Snowguard thwart and aerial, which we do sort of care about that, or retaliate and hit points. I feel like we need to do the retaliate and hit points thing. It's not going to matter this turn, obviously, but in the future, that'll be better. All right, Sunspot, if we defeat Sunspot, we put threat here in acceleration, which we don't want to do. So I'm just going to flip down. When we flip down, we lose all forms, and I'll exhaust Monica to remove this from the game. So at least it's not coming back. I will forget this, so I'll put it here to remember. I'll put it behind the counter deck to remember if we do scoop. I will keep Vivian. No, not that important. I'd rather draw into the thing that allows us to thwart for a lot. And then we'll just pass. Sunspot could have dealt with that, but we add an acceleration when Sunspot leaves, so it feels like it's a wash. Cards, genius. Oops. 3 resources. Adam Warlock, very good. We've really enjoyed Adam Warlock, that's for sure. Speed of Light means we can change forms, which is kind of cute. If we can draw the thing that allows us to ready, we can actually heal, then flip up, which would be nice. Another resource generator and Air Supremacy, which this does 3 damage unless there's a minion. We'd like a minion here. This goes to 4. Black Widow schemes for 2 and a card. No boost icons. Nice. So just takes it to 6. I'll use a 6 for this. If we draw an advance here, we can easily lose. We draw an attack acrobatics. All right. So much for flipping up. I don't have this card text. I need to remember this. This one didn't come through. But this says, when revealed, if you're an alter ego form, change to your hero form. So we can't recover anymore. When we change the hero form, we can put one of our 3 things into play. So at least here we have control. Either we can remove a threat and give ourselves +2 thwart. I think that's kind of interesting. I think we need threading more than attacking. So we'll go Photon, and after you change this form, remove 1 threat from a scheme. So, yeah, we'll just do the main one. Then the rest of this, she's going to attack. Mind you, we did get 1 shot by this once. Give an additional boost card. So Black Widow's attacking for 2 and 2 cards. Looking at our hand, we have no blocking. We actually could have changed to the block mode. That might have been better. Let's change to the block mode instead. So we'll put this on 6 because I want to keep Snowguard around for as many attacks as possible, not 1 big attack. So we'll change to Pulsar, which we haven't done a lot of this. When we change to Pulsar, we get a heal 1, which is nice. And now we're going to block for 3 defense, which is fine because we have a ready to change. Or not ready, but we can change our forms. Actually, the ready is important. The fact that we don't have a ready means that this is blocking 2 and a heal, but instead we're doing 3 thwart. Oh god, I think we block with Sunspot, but then Abduct Superhumans gets 5 threat. We can do 1, 2, 3. Adam Warlock can hit a physical. Whoa. Okay, some parts of Spectrum's interesting. 6th card? Sorry? What do you mean 6th card? Oh, we didn't draw 6 cards? Did we not draw 6 cards? Yeah, we're in Alter Ego. We didn't draw 6 cards. Good catch. Yeah, we're are you Captain Marvel? Oh, we're Spectrum. Yeah, we didn't draw a 6th card, did we? Throwing acrobatics. Okay, cool. Good catch. Okay. I need to figure out what to do here. We're on 8 health. We're deciding our form. We've done a Red Skull campaign where I played just as Hawkeye. I felt I wasn't doing enough Hawkeye things, but we won after 3 cracks of Red Skull. A friend was playing the Ant-Man leadership precon. Oh, that's a fun precon with like really big, what's it called? Allies. I actually do play all the precons. I think Hawkeye is just the most fun, but not incredibly powerful. Yeah, Adam Warlock is a really good ally. I like him a lot. Very fun minigame to play. Okay, so I don't think we block here. I think we block with Sunspot. Let this go to 5 and we can bring Sunspot back because we can thwart for 3 and we can thwart for more. So I'm just going to go to the thwarting side, which means we can remove 1 from here, which means this will go up to 4 now. But we'll remove 1 from here. All right, Black Widow's attacking for 2 and 2 cards. We'll block with Sunspot. Black Widow's attacking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that defeats Sunspot. And Abduct Superhuman says, when an ally leaves play, tuck it under here. Place threat here equal to its cost. So we'll put this up to 5 and an acceleration icon here. So once we get rid of that, it'll clear the acceleration icon. But that also means when we clear this, we put each ally into play under its control. So you get the free ally, which is nice. All right, that was actually fine. I think that's fine. I think that's okay. That's fine. We actually could have considered changing to a different mode here. Unfortunately, we saw the boost icons because we're going to change the speed of light, which allows us to change form. And that means we could take 1 more threat. Like we could have thwarted 1 more. I guess it's a wash. We could have healed 1 and then changed 1. So actually it was right here to change into the pulsar form for defense so that we can heal 1. And then we just do speed of light to draw. Yeah, I'm going to retcon this. I think we need every ounce we can get. So say that we change the pulsar. Instead of doing 1 here, we heal 1. And then just on click 1, we spend speed of light, which says change energy forms and draw a card. So then we can change to this mode, which means we can thwart 1 and draw a card. So it basically just heals us 1. Photon speed. That's good. Spectrum was once Captain Marvel, which is just more fun Marvel silliness. Oh, I had no idea. I know that she's an Avenger, and I do also have Captain Marvel in the deck, but I know very little about Spectrum. I know that she was a later Avenger, and you see her in some of the arts, but I'm not familiar with Spectrum or Blue Marvel, or I think I'm imagining a part of the Avengers that people know less of. Okay. All right, we got to still sort this out. So this is a superpower that removes 4 threat. Funny enough, if we were in another form, we actually would have got more benefit off this. So our retcon actually punished us, which is kind of silly. Snow Guard is just our blocker. We definitely want to play Adam. So I'm going to generate 1 resource. Adam, we want to throw out a physical, which shouldn't be too hard. So we'll do this and we'll play Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock comes into play. I also did not play Marvel Champions when this box came out, but this box had Adam Warlock and Spectrum as the 2 like main heroes. I'm assuming people weren't super hyped for that because Adam Warlock is like, I don't know if people are like super Adam Warlock build. All right, so when Adam Warlock attacks, you can choose to discard a card at random from your hand to do one of those effects, and those effects are pretty good. Removing 3 threat is perfect for us. So I think here, what we're going to do now is we're going to play... Are we a resource short here? We need 1 card in hand for Adam. Photon speed is 1 card, so it leaves us with this. So I think we don't use Adam this turn. We'll pitch Genius for Soaring Acrobatics. This is a card that came out much later. And it says, when an aerial character controller uses a basic power, exhaust Soaring Acrobatics to get +1 to that power. That's really, really useful. It was the Thanos box that kind of carried the hype. Really? So people just didn't mind. That's sick. That's good to know. Because obviously the Thanos was like pretty relevant. I don't know how that aligned with like the MCU. So this means that we can thwart for 4, which means Adam Warlock can finish this. And then it's up to us to go for the 50-50, or we don't have to go for the 50 and we can just play this. I think we're just going to play this. So we're going to use Deft Focus, and we're going to play pitch Air Supremacy to do Photon Speed, which just says remove 4 threat from a scheme. Otherwise, we would have done a change, which we actually could have done a change there, but we retconned. So we'll drop this to 1. Then Spectrum will thwart for 3. We'll exhaust Soaring Acrobatics to give her +1, so that's 4. And then Adam Warlock will thwart for 1, not using his ability, which will clear Abduct Superhumans, which says when you clear this, we get to put each ally into play. So we put Sunspot into play, remove that token, comes in full health. We can definitely block with Sunspot. I think we need to start doing some damage. So we'll attack with Sunspot into Black Widow. Black Widow says when you attack Black Widow, discard the top card of the deck, has no preparation. We remove a threat, and she actually does take the damage. So we're done our first damage to Black Widow. That's good. I picked up Wasp and the Guardians of the Galaxy box from 401 Games and brought them back on my carry on LOL. Almost didn't have space. 401 has really good prices on some of the older stuff too. They had some really, really aggressive deals. I think Wasp is fantastic. I almost played Wasp today, but I really like the 3 changed forms, and I think I like Ant-Man a bit better, but I think I just played Ant-Man a lot more. Guardians box is hella hard, Ken. If you don't know that, it is by far the most difficult box. The feedback from my understanding is that the FFG people got after they put out Rise of Red Skull, which is one of the easiest boxes. They said, this is too easy. And so they're like, okay. And then they made a box that has difficulty kind of like Lord of the Rings, which is very hard. I do think the campaign mechanics in it are quite good, where you spend like, it's kind of like Arkham, you upgrade your decks, but the scenarios are very hard and some of them are not particularly fair, but good luck. If you can do it. Maddie and I played through the whole campaign and we did end up getting through it. It took us a bunch of tries though. Air Supremacy. This card's useless. I feel like our aerial deck is not paying off. Ready to Rumble's pretty good. We don't have a form change because it's Photon Speed and we're in that form. I don't think I like Spectrum. Captain Marvel. Would love to play Captain Marvel. This is actually the only status effect we have in the deck. This is the only way that we can do a stun. And for this, we have to discard 4 cards from our deck, and 2 of them have to have printed energy icons. I think our deck on average has more energy icons than anything else, especially because we're playing all these like power of flights as much as they're in the bin. So there's a chance. But this one also says printed. So if we hit a wild icon, we can't choose what it is. All right, this goes to 2. Black Widow attacks for 2 and a card. We'll block with Snow Guard, who she has Retaliate. Oh, excuse me. I always forget to zoom out here. That's 4 damage. So we drop half the health and we do Retaliate 1. Encounter card. Widow's Bite. When revealed, you are stunned. Take 1 damage. Not too bad. So the other Widow's Bite, but you're going to fall for that trap. That's okay. So we are in Thwart 3 mode. We want to clear from here. Adam Warlock could heal us for 3. We have to throw out a physical. So that means the Air Supremacy. The best thing about this card is that we never play it. Captain Marvel would be all of our cards. I feel like we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and play Captain Marvel. I think that's like totally okay. We only have 3. Oh, this is actually a problem. We only have 3 ally spots. I did have a copy of Triskelion in the deck, and I swapped it out for the last minute because I didn't know how many slots we'd end up taking up. Triskelion is just a cheap card that's a 1 of per deck that allows you to have an additional ally slot, which is like a leadership thing. But I'm pretty sure that we're just going to attack with Sunspot. So we remove 1 threat here. I'm actually going to use Soaring Acrobat. Hold on. We might not do that. Getting 2 threat here is good. No, that's fine. We'll attack with Sunspot, which removes 1 threat from here. We rip the top card. It is no preparation, so it goes through, no problem. So we do 4 damage, and Sunspot is gone. That means the last threat we can take off with Adam Warlock, but we've opened up a slot. We'll just do generate 1, throw out a whole hand for Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel says, this is a choice. We can choose not to do this. It actually might be right not to do this because 3 damage doesn't matter that much. And we have another couple good resource generators in our deck. There's a chance it's wrong to do Captain Marvel here because if we toast 4 good cards before we cycle our deck, we're going to feel pretty bad about it. I'm just going to do it because it's fun, but it actually might be right not to do. So after Marvel enters play, discard the top 4 cards of your deck. That's a wild. It doesn't work. That is a wild. It doesn't work. Uh-oh. That's an energy. So we hit 1. Those are cards we didn't exactly want to draw. That's an energy. Okay, we nailed it. Actually, very, very good that we did that. So this says, if you discard a printed energy icon, deal 3 damage. If you discard more than 1 printed resource, also stun that energy. I love the term also. So this goes to 6 and a stun, which is good. That's the only status effect we have in our whole deck. And obviously, it's not very consistent. Now, Captain Marvel has 4 health. She's aerial as well, so we can Soaring Acrobatics. We have no cards for Adam Warlock. Totally forgot about that. It's too bad. That means we won't use Adam Warlock. We can thwart for 3, which feels pretty silly. How many more copies in our deck do we have of our big Gamma Blast attack, which we want to be unstunned for? Every single copy. Okay, if that's the case, I'm just going to attack with Spectrum to remove the stun. Adam Warlock could thwart, but we want to use Adam Warlock's ability. Captain Marvel could thwart. I don't think we care about that too much. We'll thwart next turn, give her +1, clear that, and then throw Black Widow damage. We definitely want to change forms this turn to go into the attack form. All right, we're going to draw 7 copies of the Blast. Here's the first one, Gamma Blast. Blue Marvel's good. We can change forms when you play him. We have full slots, though. Falcon, Energy. Ooh, another duplication. Not a bad hand, actually. That means that we have 2 Gamma Blasts in the bottom 4. That's not awful. This feels different from when you had like 40 airships as Maria. Yeah, Maria's kind of messed up. Like, so I think I need to do like a standalone video. The problem is like I haven't been able to put a lot of time into other content besides obviously Netrunner because things have been going on. But the issue I have with Maria is that it's very hard to make a Maria Hill deck where the thing that your deck does is more powerful or more interesting than just getting your big airships. And you can always get your big airships. And so every time I built a Maria Hill deck, that's like, oh, this is a Maria Hill deck that plays the Cersei to get down a free ally. It's like, you know, it's just better, the Iliad and Pericles. Like it's up to you to make an interesting deck by not including the cards that are busted. And I feel like that's kind of frustrating. This goes to 3 Black Widow at attack, but she's stunned. Our encounter card is Aim Commando. Quick Strike going to attack for 3. For 2, excuse me. Might as well block with Snowguard, I think. Now, Snowguard won't be defeated before we cycle our deck, but we'll block for 2, which means this takes 1. That's fine, because we do have AoE damage with Gamma Blast, or sorry, Overkill damage, so we don't care about this little guy. All right, how do we set up? I think we'll just... I don't think we play Blue Marvel here because our ally slots are full. So what do we want to keep in our hand? We can keep Blue Marvel for healing. So we'll do Energy to play our second copy of Energy Duplication. I'll just stack these. All the Nico campaigns in the world. That's fine. We don't need all these cards. So then we'll generate. Do we want to thwart 3? No. Captain Marvel will thwart for 2, but we'll use Soaring Acrobatics to give the aerial +1. So that clears 3. So we won't have to worry about a preparation. Now we're going to do generate 1, generate 2, generate 3 for superpower, Gamma Blast. Oh, actually, no, we don't want generate 3. We'll throw out Falcon so that we can make sure that we get rid of Blue Marvel. Change the Gamma Energy form. Gamma Energy form gives us +2 attack, and after we change this form, deal 1 damage to an enemy. We'll just hit Black Widow here. Oh, we're going to advance. Uh-oh. No way around it. We've committed to the bit. That's fine. So this says deal 7 damage to an enemy if you were already in Gamma form. This gets overkill. Oh, we need to be in Gamma form for this to be overkill. So this is just a waste of resources. I forgot that we have to be in Gamma form for this to have overkill. So we have no way to get this overkill. This is just an immense waste of damage. Yeah, it's still fine. That means we won't advance. So Aim Commando is defeated from 7 damage. Okay. Adam Warlock will attack for 1. When Adam Warlock attacks, you can discard a card at random from your hand. This is an energy, sorry, a wild, so we can decide what we want to do. What do we want to do here? I think we want to heal 3. So remove 3 threat, doesn't matter. Heal 3 damage from an identity, we can take that. Deal 3 damage to an enemy, that will drop Black Widow to 1, and she'll be defeated by Snowguard. I'm just going to heal 3, that seems harder. And then we'll do the same thing, we'll attack for 3. Okay, that's fine. We're in Gamma form, yes, but that is only... if you were in Gamma form, if you were already in Gamma form. So the text on Gamma Blast and all the other superpowers like that, they don't say if you are in Gamma form, they say if you already were in Gamma form, because all the cards force you into that form to play them. So they all have kickers if you were like stayed in that form, which is like a bit of a kicker for sure, but you also lose the kicker of changing forms. So kind of a mixed bag. All right, we're going to deck out, which was probably a good turn not to advance Black Widow because we're going to draw 2 encounter cards. This feels, excuse me. So we'll draw 4. We have 2 Gamma Blasts like we thought. We have a Pulsar Shield if we need to block in a pinch, but we're just going to chump block with Snow Guard. Air Supremacy, that's been such a good card. And then we'll draw 1 more, shuffling our deck. I wonder if there's not enough aerial support. Like, I don't know. Do I play Adam Warlock aerial? Because Adam Warlock can get aerial, and you can play cards from every faction. So you can get like the aerial benefits from every faction. That might be more interesting. If we defeat this, or if we don't, we might just go ahead and build that deck live on stream. Adam Warlock has rules where you can play cards from every single faction. I think you have to play an equal amount, but you are allowed to play multicolor, which I think is the only hero you can do full multicolor. Besides like Spider-Woman, which sort of kind of counts. All right, 1 more. Hope. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. We put 2 here. So Black Widow attacks. Actually, Retaliate won't defeat Black Widow because Snow Guard needs to survive for Retaliate to matter. So it's 2 in a card. We'll black with Snow Guard. 2 boost icons off the Aim Abductor. So that defeats Snow Guard. So there's no Retaliate. Hate to lose your allies right when you cycle your deck because you won't draw them for another like 40 cards. And then we get 2 encounter cards. First one. Attack Acrobatics. Shit, we know this one. I know it's not in the computer. When revealed, if you're in alter ego form, change the hero form. Black Widow attacks you, give her an additional boost card. So Black Widow is now attacking for 2 and 2 cards. Quite mean. That can do up to 8 damage is the worst case. We took a 7 damage attack acrobatics and just died before. So we could decide to block with Adam Warlock, which would be okay. Mind you, Gamma Blast is kind of useless in this form. We could also just like Pulsar Shield for free. And then we could Gamma Blast our way back. This gives us enough resources to play Hope Summers as well. Good to get this one at full health. Yeah. Like in theory, we want to like Gamma Blast when she's on full health so that we can start pushing. The problem is also like when we push, she suddenly this seems to be the problem with Spectrum. If we defeat Black Widow will put 3 threat on here. And then every time beginning of the villain phase, we put 3 more threat. So we need to do damage, but then we also need to be able to threat the same turn. And Spectrum just inherently is really bad at doing split things because if we're in the damage form, we don't threat more than 2 with Soaring Acrobatics. Now we do have Captain Marvel and we do have like Adam Warlock, so leadership can help, but it's very hard to be like, we need to do damage and then like immediately take all the threat off. So we go to Pulsar Shield, we heal 1, which is useless. We block 3, not very good. We lose 2 cards functionally because we have to spend one of our energy duplications. So I think if we block with Adam Warlock, what's Adam Warlock going to do? We have all energy types. Adam Warlock's pretty good. Losing a card is technically a cost, but you often end up with an extra card in your hand. So I think we want to use Adam. I think we just take this damage. There's no way it's 7 damage or 8 damage. 1, 2, no boost, 2 boost. Nice. Take 4. We go down to 7. Now we still have a second encounter card, so we can't celebrate too much. Sinister Strike. All right, place 1 on Pursued by the Past. The villain attacks you. 2 in a card. I don't think we can block this one either. This one might make more sense to actually jump into Pulsar Shield because we end up healing. But then we're stuck in this mode unless we play Gamma Blast, which we will play Gamma Blast, which means we don't play Hope Summers. I think that's fine. So we'll exhaust 1 to play Pulsar Shield. This is a better Pulsar Shield. When you play Pulsar Shield, change to Pulsar Energy form and Ready Spectrum. You can only play this when you're going to block, which we would have blocked. When we change to Pulsar Field, we heal 1. And we don't have Retaliate because we weren't in this form at the beginning. So attacking for 2 in a card, we're blocking for 3. Plus 2 icons. So that means we take 1. And that's it for us. Okay. I wonder if you can play like defense Spectrum and just stay in Pulsar Shield all the time. And then just pop out for like burst damage and then pop back in. But if you can't pop back in, you're playing defense with 1 health, like, or 1 defense stat. That feels pretty bad. Okay. Gamma Blast feel pretty bad. If we change modes, oh wait, with Gamma Blast we can play it to change mode, which will deal 1 damage to Black Widow. Oh wait, that's actually perfect. I didn't realize that how good that is. So we'll generate 1 resource. We'll generate 2 resources. We want to keep physical in hand, so we'll throw out Hope Summers. That's 3 resources. And this actually works out really well for us. Because Gamma Blast says, change to Gamma Energy form. And when you change to Gamma Energy form, we can deal 1 damage to enemy. So that defeats Black Widow. It's Black Widow 2 becomes Black Widow 3. When revealed, put 3 threat here, and then has 20 health. And has the exact same text. Oh, this attack might entirely whiff. Hold on. Not much we can do about it. So we're attacking, which drops us by 1. We reveal the top of the deck. Preparation. Attach this card to Black Widow. Okay, this might matter. I fell for the trap again. Attach to Black Widow gets Retaliate. Okay, so we're getting hurt here. After a character you control attacks Black Widow, if no preparation ability was resolved, discard this card. So preparation ability has been resolved so far. So we're attacking for 7 damage. So this goes down to 13. We take 1 off Retaliate. Okay. So after a character you control attacks Black Widow and no preparation. So we can either do that by getting lucky, or we can also do that by just thwarting enough off of that. So that means we're going to use Adam Warlock to thwart for 1. And then with Adam Warlock, we can discard a random card from our hand. We discard Gamma Blast, which says remove 3 threat from a scheme. So now we don't have to worry about that text. Adam is defeated. Now we can attack for 1, 2, 3. We'll make it 4, which does 4 damage. And this says, after a character you control attacks Black Widow, if no preparation ability was resolved, discard this card after resolving Retaliate. So we're down to 5, but we do get rid of this. So we're at 9 health. We're going to attack with Captain Marvel for 3, taking 2 consequential, so that drops it down to 6. So we lost the 50-50. If we kept the 50-50, we would have had a Gamma Blast, which would have been able to defeat Black Widow cleanly next turn. As much as we'll still have a threat to deal with, which is a problem. I think Air Supremacy will do 3 damage. It's probably worth keeping. We just need damage in our hand, but we are in Gamma mode, which is good. I think we might be okay here. All right, well, hold on. 1. Genius, nice. 2. Falcon, okay, good. Blue Marvel, really good. We can change forms, which can heal us or do some thwarting. And Speed of Light, which means we can change as well. So this is unfortunately where we're stuck in this mode. So blocking is pretty bad. We put 3 threat here, which makes the preparations happen. And Black Widow's now attacking for 2 and a card. If we don't block and it has 3 boost icons, we just die. So we are kind of incentivized to block with Captain Marvel, which if we do that, we lose 3 attack. Potentially 4 attack. But we're going to use this no matter what. So we're not blocking for 1. If we do block for 1, we're exhausted, which is bad. So I think we have to block with Captain Marvel, because if this has 3 boosts, we just lose. It has 2 boosts. Defeats Captain Marvel. Don't get attack acrobatics. If it's attack acrobatics, we lose. Destroy evidence. Cool. So we're actually not often that bad at dealing with Crisis. So this is 4 threat because of Hinder. Each other encounter card gains Insight 1, which means when you're revealed, you also place a threat on the main scheme. So that means we can ignore this and we can just attack Black Widow. The problem is every attack discards the top of the deck, and the top of the deck can have a preparation, and that preparation attacks, some of them just say cancel the attack, if I'm not mistaken. But that means we're thwarting at the same time. So what do we do here? Let's start. We're definitely going to play Blue Marvel. We have no superpowers in our hand. We can Speed of Light to change forms to blocking form at the end of the turn and draw a card and heal 1, which might be okay. We don't have a Ready to Rumble, which we'd appreciate. This also allows us to change form, so we can change to the healing form, change back to the damage form. We can also change to the remove threat form, which could be okay. But we're just trying to win in this turn or next turn. A Falcon doesn't do anything. Air Supremacy is not bad. I think we will attack for 3. So this goes down to 2. We rip the top. We'll attack for 4 with Throwing Acrobatics. We'll attack for 4. Preparation, attach this card to Black Widow. Uh-oh. Each encounter card without a preparation ability gains preparation, prevent all damage from this attack, then discard night vision goggles. That's bad, but we did land 4 damage. So on 2 health, we can either play Blue Marvel and hope, or we can Air Supremacy and hope. We also can just change forms twice. I think we actually win by just changing forms a couple times. So we'll play Speed of Light. After change energy forms and draw a card. So we'll change to Pulsar form, which says after you change to this form, heal 1 damage. No, that won't win. So we won't do the Pulsar form. We'll do the thwarting form. So after you change this energy form, remove 1 threat from a scheme. I believe Crisis says that you can't thwart it, but I don't think that means you can't remove threat from it. Oh, I need to look that up. I don't think it says that in the rulebook because that's part of the core set rulebook, right? Yeah, what is the text on Crisis? I think you can't thwart. I think because this is not a thwart text, I think this should be fine. We'll draw a card. It's Vivian. Oh, Vivian can blank night vision goggles. Wait a second. I think we're guaranteed here. That was a good draw. After Vivian enters play, choose an attachment, non-elite minion, or non-permanent side scheme until the end of the round. Treat that card's printed text box as if it were blank. So that means we can use Vivian either to get rid of the Widow's Web by blanking Destroy Evidence, or we can just blank the night vision goggles. Technically, blanking Widow's Web is better because then there's no chance Black Widow does anything. That's really cool. So we're going to spend 2 for Vivian. After Vivian enters play, does that work? Choose an attachment, non-elite minion, or non-permanent side scheme until the end of the round. Treat the card's printed text box as if it were blank. I'm assuming Crisis is in the text box. I'm like pretty sure Crisis is part of the text box because it's written in the text box. Or is text box just words? Hold on. Google time. Marvel Champions. Does Vivian blank Crisis icon? Vivian would treat any icons on the attachment or side scheme as blank until the end of the round. Thank you, Reddit. Okay, cool. That seems good. So now there's no Crisis icon. So that means we can use Vivian to thwart 2, clearing this. She is defeated. That means because there's no threat here, Night Vision Goggles doesn't do anything, right? Because Night Vision Goggles only works when we discard a card. A counter card without a preparation ability gains preparation, prevent all damage from this attack. Yeah. And then we'll just do, there's a couple ways to do this, but I'll just do air supremacy because it's funny. So we'll spend 2 for air supremacy. Choose up to X enemies where X is equal to the number of aerial characters you control. We control 1 spectrum. Deal 3 damage. All right, we got there. It took us 3 attempts, and I did not feel great about it. I feel like we're still totally wildly not in control, and we just have to get lucky that we draw very well. I'm worried our deck has bad ratios between too many resources and like too many payoffs. I think there's just inherently going to be some volatility when you play a bunch of cards that cost 4 or 5, because any hand that you draw 1 of them, super good. Any hand that you draw 2 or 3 of them becomes super bad. I also think we probably should just be playing Nick Fury. This is an issue that I run into anytime that I play more Marvel Champions, is that like Nick Fury should just about be in every deck. Because it's more so that you can take any clumsy hand and have a good chance of fixing it to make it a better hand. And I think there are some clumsy hands we have. I know he's not aerial, but we have no reason to have only aerial cards. But like Nick Fury just seems so much better than the other card that we didn't play. Right? Like Hope Summers was too expensive, but when we have Hope Summers for 1 turn that cost 1 credit, like we'll play Hope Summers. I mean, we'll play Nick. Same with Falcon. Falcon didn't seem that good. I don't think we'll ever play Falcon. There's another chance that we could play like the what is it, the Quinjet or whatever, that can like eventually play your expensive Avengers. We do have some expensive Avengers. It's a card that every turn basically gets a counter, and then you can just dump something into play, which is pretty good. Like I don't mind that card. It isn't unique, so you can play multiple copies, but I do think the majority of cards we have are not Avengers at this point. That means we can play more Avengers, but like Captain Marvel after 5 turns, like maybe that's a bit silly. But I think Captain Marvel and Blue Marvel are our only Avengers. Oh, and Falcon. Yeah, that's fine. The fact that we could change forms to do the last damage on Black Widow, that was kind of hype. But I'm pretty sure like this should just become Nick. That's a bummer, but that's probably the truth. The more that we play the deck, the more we're just going to cut out the aerial cards to be like, wait, we don't need Joaquin. We can just go play, you know, Professor X. Oh, we don't need that. We now have confused. Like we should play Professor X. Oh, man. Oh, that seemed bad. One second. I knocked the stream deck over. It's still good. Okay. It turned off for a second. That was scary. All cards should become Rashida's. It's like, that's the weird thing. I don't know if this is the case, right? So say that you play Netrunner and then you built a Corp deck and then it has no Rashida in it and people say you should play Rashida and then you do play Rashida. And then your deck is better, obviously, because you spend less time doing the basic actions and it's more explosive and more fun, right? Like you just got to do more Netrunner. I feel like that's the same thing for Nick Fury. But then I do feel like online people are tired of it. Be like, oh, you're playing Nick Fury again. And I honestly don't feel that about Rashida because, well, you have an opponent. And I think that's the big difference is that when your opponent is like ahead of you on tempo for you and you're not doing anything, like you're playing worse Netrunner. I wonder if we're playing worse Marvel Champions if we don't play Nick. I do think it is the Rashida of this game to some extent. All right, let's go on to Batroc. Batroc should be fine, right? Anytime I'm disrespectful about these heroes, that's when I die on turn 1. Give me 1 second to do some sorting. Let's do some sorting. First times I played Black Widow, the text didn't matter. I think this was a lot cooler. The text actually did matter. And I do think a big part of that is just don't play Maria Hill. Maria Hill makes the text not matter. Aim Science? We need Aim Science again. We don't need Aim Abduction ever again. Aim Abduction, Aim Science, Aim Abduction, Aim Abduction, Aim Science. Okay. So this is only 5 cards. Yeah, that's right. This is 5 cards. Seems good. All right, let's play Batroc. So I'll show you something about Batroc that I don't get. Batroc is kind of like a reimagining of the museum stuff from the Guardians of the Galaxy box. Because Batroc, of course, comes into play with this environment. Mind you, we'll put the rescue captains aside out of play. But Batroc comes into play with this environment called Alert Level. And Alert Level comes with 2 sides. It starts on low. And if there's at least 4 threat here, remove all threat from here and flip this card. Okay. And when you flip this over, you don't lose the game, but the other side of alert level is really difficult because if this gets 4 threat on it, you just lose the game. It gives Batroc +1 scheme and +1 attack. That's bad. You don't want that to happen. But more importantly, if this set gets 4, you just lose the game. Of course, the text is the same on both sides after a character is defeated except by consequential damage. So you don't want to chump block. So we'll have to worry about that a bit. You have to place a threat here, and then you can always, as a hero, spend a resource to remove 1 threat here. I'd argue there's some criticism that there's a lot of cards you have to spend resources to remove tokens on across Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's not a particularly fun mechanic. And for what it's worth, at the Escape from the Museum, you had a couple ways to do it. You could remove a resource. You could also exhaust a character. I think that's a bit more interesting to have choices. But the problem I have with alert level is that on Expert, you start with 2 threat whenever you get here. When you go to the final scheme, spoilers, you go to high threat. So no matter what, you end up on high threat. I have advanced to high threat on the first stage, and it's a terrible thing. You want to avoid it at all costs because all of the cards get worse. A lot of the cards, excuse me, get worse if you're on high threat. So one of the worst things you can do is on turn 1, turn 2, go to high threat. It just makes the rest of the scenario so much more difficult. So you want to avoid that. But another thing, of course, Batroc says, whenever Batroc activates, whenever Batroc activates, you put a threat on this thing on alert level, which means on turn 1, if there's like 1 threat here, if there's 2 threat here on turn 1, right? Batroc is going to attack you if it's not stunned. And if the encounter card that you draw just says like Batroc activates again, which always in standard, there's a couple cards that say that, let alone, of course, Batroc has a couple more attack cards. Like I think only leap and kick. So it would have to be one of the standard cards, I'm pretty sure. This just suddenly hits 4. That's an issue. And I feel like this is one of the things that I don't like the scaling here on solo, is that this getting 8 tokens is really hard out of nowhere when you play multiplayer, if you play 2 players, right? Because the chance of Batroc activating 2 or 3 or 4 times, specifically 3 or 4 times during a villain phase is very unlikely. But having Batroc activate twice against a single player is actually not unlikely. So if this is ever on 2, you can't just lose. Because 1 activate will always happen if you're hero mode, and then 4th, that just can't happen. If you get a double activate, you just lose, which means it is entirely irresponsible to have this on anything less than 1 or basically 1 or less. It's just a problem inherently with this. If this is on 2, you can't just lose the game, specifically if it's on the high alert version. Of course, if it's on the standard alert version, you just go to high alert, which is like, you don't want that to happen. But if this is on 2, you can't just flip it, which means you can lose the game. Now that's not my biggest complaint. My biggest complaint is this card, and I don't understand this at all. When I first drew this, I thought this was like a very thematic and fun card. It's called Security Cameras. And it says, when revealed in alter ego, remove a threat from the alert level, this card gains surge. That is really cool flavor. The idea is that we're sneaking through an AIM compound, rescuing folks. And if we're just an alter ego walking through the halls, well, the alert level goes down. We're just kind of people walking through the halls. But if we're dressed up like a superhero running through the halls, that's when you do the revealed hero text. It says, for each character you control, choose to either exhaust that character or place 1 threat on alert level, 2 threat instead of alert levels on its high side. This is one of the big reasons a lot of cards like this scale really, really strongly if you're on high threat. But the problem with this card is that if you can't exhaust a character you control, say that you have 1 character, heaven forbid you block with your hero, so the villain attacks, you block, and you draw this card, you can't make any choices anymore. Which means, say that this is on 1 threat on high alert, when you always have to be on high alert, Batroc attacks you, this goes to 2, you block, you draw this card, you lose the game. It's like straight up that simple. You just lose the game if you block. And this is the most common card in the entire deck. There's 4 of these. I don't understand this at all. Imagine you had an ally and the ally blocked, or the ally is exhausted. Sorry, yeah, an ally in front of you. If you can't exhaust every single character, you also add 2 to 4 threat. You just lose. I do not understand this card at all. This is so very, very frustrating. And this is just like so frustrating, specifically when you play solo. The margin for error is so tiny. Again, if this is on 1, Batroc attacks you, goes to 2. If you're playing defense and you exhaust to block, you are now exhausted. You draw this card, which is the most common card in the deck. You cannot exhaust one of your characters. You have to put 2 threat on here. You lose the game. I don't understand this. I think this card is totally palatable with multiplayer, but with solo, this is absurdly frustrating. Now, you could say this is maybe the theme, and it's highly incentivizing you to play an alter ego as much as possible, so Batroc doesn't kick you, and that sort of stuff. And I agree to that to some extent, but like the fact that you have to play constantly on 1 in case you get attacked by the counter card, or the fact that you cannot block because if you draw this, you just lose when you're on high threat, it is just frustrating. I think there's a couple scenarios or a couple like cards like this that exist in this entire box that seem like the balance is fine for multiplayer, which I haven't played it yet. I'll definitely play this multiplayer in the near future. But for solo, the margins of error are so tiny, and they just show up in ways that you can't deal with. Again, when you advance to the last scheme, this gets 2 alert level on it, which means if you didn't see that coming, and heaven forbid you defeat like the last the second main scheme, and then you go to the third scheme, this flips over and puts 2 threat on it on expert. Which means if you can't deal with this immediately, Batroc attacks, this goes to 3. And if Batroc draws an encounter card that causes him to attack, let alone you draw the cameras, you just lose the game. You can just straight up lose the game out of nowhere. You might not see it coming. I find this to be very, very, very suspect for a solo scenario. I think there's also things like in M.O.D.O.K too, the balance is really strange. It seems way too easy if you're playing solo, but if you're playing multiplayer, it gets more interesting. This box has been strange to me, but I think this alert level cameras thing is one of the most frustrating ones because we've never seen a mechanic like that before. You could argue that the museum has a frustrating mechanic like that, and I do think a lot of people don't like the scenario for that reason, but this just has it in really, really strange spots. Like we can just lose alert level as soon as turn 1, we can go to high alert, and then it can just mess us up again. We can just lose the game. Very, very strange. Not sure how I feel about this scenario, but we'll play it, see how it is. We don't actually block a lot with Spectrum, so that's good. But in theory, if we like block with an ally like Snow Guard, and then we draw that cameras card, we can't exhaust Snow Guard, so we have to put 1 or 2 threat there. Which again, if it's on 1 threat, Batroc attacks is on 2 threat, we draw an encounter card, it can suddenly go to 4. Like it's really, really rough. All right, let's give this a shot. Batroc. Actually, I guess we'll show Infiltrate, Aim, Island, Embassy first. Infiltrate. Cool. All right, so this is one of the ones that's kind of structured like Lord of the Rings, where there's going to be threat on the main scheme. Our job is to remove that, and as soon as we remove all the threat, we go to the next thing. So it's not like we have to just constantly clear it. You constantly clear it and then get out. So we're playing against Batroc B. Batroc Standard. We're playing against AIM Scientist and Batroc's Brigade. We set up the Rescue Captive Allies aside. There's 4 of them. And then we put the alert level environment in low side, and we already put 2 threat on here, which means we can advance as soon as turn 1 if we don't clear this, because Batroc will attack, and if we draw a Sinister Strike, Batroc attacks again, and we just go to a high alert on turn 1. It doesn't make a lot of sense. All right, we'll flip that over. It starts with 6. We lose on 12, so we definitely have to work on this as well. But when we clear this, we have to advance to stage 2A. It doesn't have any text, it has some flavor on it. You sneak into the AIM Island Embassy in search for abducted shield specialist Sarah Garza. There you come face to face with a mercenary known as Batroc the Leaper, who does parkour. Mind you, Batroc, we're going to play the B side, so 12 health, doesn't scale with player count, and when you defeat Batroc, health is reset, and we can remove a whole bunch of threat from the main scheme. In theory, as soon as turn 1, we could advance if we draw a lot of damage. For future content, you don't have to play the new stuff. You can play the stuff you like. I think I will, Gehar. The thing is, like, I want to play this more and more to develop an opinion that's actually educated. Because, like, I've only played through this, like, 4 or 5 times, maybe a bit more. And I'm noticing these things that are being, like, that are, like, legitimate criticisms. And I want to be able to play this enough times that I can have a criticism that feels structured, that isn't just like, oh, you've played it twice, you got blown out once. So I probably won't be playing a lot more of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. if I continue to have these sort of, like, conclusions about it. But I want to learn about it. I think it's just fascinating in terms of, like, game design, and also to learn what I like and what I don't like. Batroc's probably totally fine when you play multiplayer, and I'm excited to play this with my partner, and we'll play Maria Hill, and I'll probably play Nick Fury. It'll be fun. But there's so much content for this game, there's like no real reason to have to play the new stuff. Okay. This is us. We have no modes, we're not in a, what's it called? A form yet, and let's draw our opening hand. So just to check here, we want to spend extra resources on this, which means any resource generator like the Quinn carrier is super valuable because we just want extra resources to constantly bring this down. We can't chump block, which is actually going to be difficult for M.O.D.O.K because chump blocking means we can just lose very, very quickly because every time that a minion is defeated, it adds alert. So we have to deal with that. So our best case scenario is to, I honestly don't know. I feel like Spectrum's not that great here, but we'll find out. All right, Quinn Carry, speak of it, that's great to get down. This generates a wild resource a turn, which means we can get 1 free alert level down, which is all we want to do, really. Energy duplication. Okay, that's 2 energy generators, which is good. That's another card that can deal with alert level because this generates a resource based off of the type of our thing, which we don't care about what the type is. We just need to spend a resource of any type to deal with that alert level. Gamma Blast, big damage, 7 damage, +1 for switching forms, so we can get Batroc really low, which is easier than dealing maybe 6 threat, but not necessarily. Sunspot we don't need. Pulsar Shield we definitely don't need. And Air Supremacy we definitely don't need. The worst card in the deck. So we'll keep these, and ideally we're drawing into doubles. Now none of these cards are aerial, but if we can draw a Genius, a Strength, an Energy, we can play one of these, use this to help play for the Quinn Carrier, and go from there. I don't know what else we want to draw into here. Like Deft Focus would be good. Air Supremacy's back. That's sick. Power of Flight makes a double for aerial cards, so we can play Air Supremacy for free at a minimum. And then we get Blue Marvel, which is an aerial card that lets us switch form, which is not bad. That's a free threat or free damage. Healing doesn't matter on turn 1. Okay. You can flip down more with her in this scenario than the Black Widow, I think. Yeah, I think so for sure. Especially once we get to the next one, which has a higher threshold, and we can always like reset it. And we'll also get, this is another thing that's worth talking about. The rescue captives in this deck don't feel like they scale perfectly well with solo play, because once you get these, you're like getting 4-3 toward a turn, and that seems like a lot. So we can definitely flip down a lot more. It's a good shout out. Can we stay down here? Probably not. What's like really interesting is Batroc really incentivizes you to sneak around the embassy. I don't know if that's done intentionally. I assume it is. But the more time that we spend in Alter Ego, because every time Batroc attacks, the alert level goes up. And let alone the cameras are useless when we're in Alter Ego. So the thing I'm complaining about can be solved by just like confused locking, unfortunately, but also just staying Alter Ego. So the only way that we can play the Quinn Carrier is to go into hero mode. So we'll definitely go up once and take some damage and flip down. So let's just plan this out. We'll play 1-2 for this. Ideally Blue Marvel gets played for that. That means, how do we play Quinn Carrier? We actually might not play Energy Duplication and play Quinn Carrier instead, just so that we use more of our cards. If that's the case, this is 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is how we plan it out. 1, 2, this generates 1. This plus 1 plus 1 plays that. This doesn't play anything. So I think we don't play Energy Duplication. I think we just get the Quinn Carrier down, just to use more of our cards. The other option is we can hold a Quinn Carrier. But we could do 1, 2, 3 for Quinn Carrier. And then we do Quinn Carrier plus Flight to play Blue Marvel. And then we can hold this. That might be better. This is not that hard to play. It's a superpower. We could get Deft Focus. But this uses most of our cards in a good way. The other option is that we could play these two cards, which we could do 1, 2, 3 for Quinn Carrier. But then we can't play Blue Marvel. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I like that. So we will flip up. We can have 2 form changes. So what form do we want to start in? What form do we want to end in? I think I want to end in the thwarting form. So we'll start in Gamma form. After you change this form, deal 1 damage to an enemy. So we'll just work on Batroc a bit. Then we'll spend 1, 2 plus Air Supremacy to play the Quinn Carrier, which generates a wild. We'll spend the wild plus the Power of Flight to play Blue Marvel, which is our unique. When it comes into play, we can change form. So we're going to change form to, what's it called? Photon form. After you change to this form, remove a threat from a scheme. Oh, we can spend this to deal with the alert level. Actually, we definitely do that. So we'll spend 1 to remove the alert level 1. Then here we'll thwart 3. Blue Marvel will thwart 2. That advances to the next scheme. The next scheme has, oh, actually smaller threshold. We should stay on this one. So we'll just attack. And that's it. Yeah, the next scheme keeps resetting, but it only has 10. So we actually want to stay on this side if we can for a bit. I'll just make this into base 5, and then we'll pass. Captain Marvel for 5, very expensive. Air Supremacy, man, this deck. Gamma Blast for 7 damage. That can definitely deal with Batroc. We have Strength, so Captain Marvel is technically affordable. And then we have Photon Speed, which is a bunch of threatening. I think we're going to try and flip down this round if we can. We might even recover. We'll see how much damage we take from Batroc. So we're on 1 right now. There is no chance that we advance. If we exhaust Spectrum, I don't think we get advanced. So I think we're okay. This goes up 1. Batroc attacks for 2 a card. When Batroc attacks, place a threat on alert level. So this is attacking for 2 in a card. The most this can be is 5 damage. If we block with Blue Marvel, alert level goes up, and then we can just advance if we draw a card that makes an activation or makes an attack specifically. So that's pretty bad. Blocking for 1 also makes no sense. We do have 2 form changes, but we don't want to block for 1. 3 damage. Not bad. That's a Sinister Strike. That's good to know because that's one of the cards that makes Batroc attack, which means we can suddenly get more alert level. And our card is Soldiers of Fortune. This is I think a very expensive card. Either spend 3 resources or find a mercenary minion, reveal it, and if no mercenary entered play this way, this card gains Surge. Now we have a Gamma Blast, but we can't actually end up in, we can't start in the form that gives us Overkill. We could get Captain Marvel to deal 3 damage to an enemy. So what are the mercenaries? There's like 3 of them, right? There's the guy who keeps coming back with a sword. There's the guy with the machine gun. And then I forget who the third one is. Well, let's look for mercenaries really quickly. So Zarin is really annoying. Zarin tucks a weapon. We don't have any weapons, so it'll just tuck the top card of the deck and get plus X attack, where the card that X is the printed resource card of the cost of that card, which can be up to 5 in our deck. That's pretty not great. There is Machete that has Surge, and this says find a mercenary man and reveal it, so Surge won't fire. But when we defeat this, it gets shuffled into the deck. At least it's pretty weak. And then Rapido, this says when revealed, deal a damage to each character you control, but we don't reveal it. We just put it into play. Oh no, we reveal it. It says in reveal it. Okay, so that stinks. So if we reveal it, Surge will actually fire. So it's basically between Rapido and the guy who steals from us. I think we're going to do Rapido, unfortunately. We could have spent 3 resources, but this is our hand. If we spend 3 resources, our hand doesn't do anything. So I think we're just going to play Captain Marvel and pass. If we can get a stun on Batroc, that'd be pretty good. So we'll reveal Rapido. When revealed, deal 1 damage to each character you control. So Blue Marvel takes 1. We take 1. Attacks for 3 with ranged and deals indirect, so we have to assign it. You can't assign more damage to a character than health, but we have to assign it all that we can, so we can split it around. Cool. Soldiers of Fortune, or sorry, Batroc's Brigade feels like a smaller set. Like I thought it would remind me of like Nasty Boys or all those other sets that come with other heroes in past, but it's only three people. Like the brigade's not that big. I thought there'd be more options. I think 5 is pretty small for a minion base encounter set. Okay. So back to us. We definitely want to attack with Blue Marvel because otherwise, if Blue Marvel blocks, the alert level goes up. So we can do 2 damage here. The question is, what are we doing with our hand? If we can spend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just dump our whole hand into Captain Marvel, spend Quinn Carrier on alert level, that's probably pretty fine. And this does 3 damage to a printed enemy, but we have to decide that enemy first. Oh, no, we don't. We discard the 4 cards first. So we can see what the 4 cards are before we decide, which means if we get the stun, we'll probably go for Batroc and just let Rapido thwart for 1 or scheme for 1. That's cool. So I think we'll do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Captain Marvel. After Captain Marvel enters play, notably, this is not forced response, but we will choose to do it. So we'll rip the top 4 of our deck. Energy. Good start. Wild doesn't count because it asks for printed. Doesn't count. Doesn't count. Too many wilds. So this only does 3 damage to an enemy. So if that's the case, we could get Rapido down. I think that's okay. And then Blue Marvel can defeat Rapido. So we will do 3 here. Blue Marvel will attack, defeating Rapido. Blue Marvel is defeated. But through consequential. We'll spend a Quinn Carrier to get the alert level down. Will Captain Marvel thwart for 2? I think why not? Taking 1 consequential. We will flip down. We have no modes here, and then we'll recover for 3. So we're at 10. And we'll draw 6 hand size. I feel like this is the first time in 3 games that we've ended up on Alter Ego, so that's not bad. All right, Photon Speed for some thwarting, which we'll definitely have to use. Another one. Vivian comes in cheap. Pulsar Shield, useless. Entirely useless in Alter Ego. Ready to Rumble's pretty good, though. And we have Falcon, which is very expensive. All right, this goes up to 2. Oh, defeating Rapido rises alert level. Good catch. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. It's after a character is defeated, so that totally counts here. So we're at 2. Good catch. Batroc is now not attacking, but scheming, so 2 in a card. 2 boost icons on Commandeer Security Office. That's a fun card. This goes up to 6. So we're back where we started. Our encounter card is Leaping Kick. When revealed, Batroc schemes an Alter Ego. We have no chance of losing here. The most we can do is 5. So 1, 2, 3. We're at 9. Good thing we have all the threat cards in our hand. Okay. That's us. 6 cards in hand. We don't have a lot of resource generators. We can... Man, this Falcon probably shouldn't be in the deck. We definitely need to do some alert level management. Captain Marvel can scheme for 2. We can scheme for 1 by flipping up. Or thwart for 1, so that's 3. That drops it down to 6. Photon does 4. So we're not going to advance. Vivian could do 2, and that's probably fine because we don't want to block with Vivian. So if that's the case, we need to play both of these cards, which we can do. We can do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Quinn Carrier for alert level. Feels bad that we're not actually playing our cards, but this seems okay. All right, we'll flip up. When we change our form, we'll choose Photon form, which removes 1 threat. Oh, we also have threat 3, so that's good. We will spend 2 on Photon speed. The kicker on this is like super niche, but it says change to Photon form. We're already there. Oh, if that's the case, we can change to the other form. So instead, let's change to... I remember saying this all the time when Maddie is playing this, but I'm missing it on my own. This is a really tricky thing. So we can change to Pulsar form instead to heal 1. And then when we play this, then we change the Photon form, because if the kicker doesn't matter, you might as well do this. That removes 1 here, and then we can remove 4. That's a cool trick, because if you don't need the form, you might as well just get a free healing. I remember that kept coming up when we were playing, and now I'm realizing that's super non-intuitive when I'm in the seat. All right, we can either remove 4 more or play Vivian. Actually, we might as well remove 4 more, because that advances, and then this will drop to 3. Yeah, that's fine. So we'll spend 2. Another Photon speed. So we'll remove 4. Let's advance. Welcome to Locate Missing Person. So this is one that just continually gets reset if you wanted to. The weird thing is, like, there's not a huge payoff if you're not playing campaign mode to take more than 1 ally off of this, but you'll see how this says. So it says, now that you penetrated the embassy, you need to locate Garza. You discover several holding cells in the embassy's basement. Hopefully, one of them holds the kidnapped tech. The backside comes in with 3 threat. It needs 10 to advance. When we advance, we lose the game. But when the last threat was removed from this, we have a choice. Either we can get a set-aside rescue captive ally, and then we can advance, or we can put 3 threat back on this and keep doing that. There are 3 set-aside rescue captives. They're all pretty good. They all do the same thing, but they are pretty beefy, but you can just exhaust them to do 1 threat, which is like totally fine. Quinn Carrier, we'll take 1 off of here. We'll threat for 3, which will remove 3 from here and go get one of our rescued captives. Rescue captives? Did I spell this wrong? No, that's just a different card. It comes in. Exhausted, though, which is important to remember. But we can always just exhaust this thing. There are some cards that Batroc will attack these. If they get defeated, nothing bad happens. They just get victory minus, which doesn't really matter, I don't think. But yeah, this card doesn't take up a slot either. So that means we can use Captain Marvel to thwart 2. We might as well work on it. So we'll thwart 2. This is the big thing about expensive allies, right? The overtime ability from that is pretty good, right? Because we functionally spend 5 resources to get 3 damage and what is 8 thwart. 5 for 8 isn't fantastic, but the idea is that you can do like 6 thwart and then you can block, which for this scenario is not something we really want to do. I feel like that's the struggle, and I think that like my least favorite thing about big allies is that it's basically your whole turn to play 1 card unless you have a lot of good resources. And I like to play generally a lot of smaller cards on a turn. It feels more fun. All right, Cloud9. Power of Leadership for Cloud9 is good. Snow Guard, also pretty good, but probably less good. We can go for the 3 thwart one. That'd be okay. Falcon, so this is where you draw too many allies. And then we have Soaring Acrobatics. That card's been really good for us. I like that card a lot. All right, this only goes up 1. Nice. Batroc's going to attack for 2 in a card. When Batroc attacks, we put an alert level. Batroc is attacking for 2. We are not going to block here, and we have no form changes, so we are totally locked into Photon mode. Good thing that was okay for us. 2 boost icons on Batroc's Brigade, so that's 4 damage. We're down to 7. Encounter card, Evil Alliance. When revealed, each Nemesis minion activates. If there's no Nemesis, we go straight to the closest we can get to getting our Nemesis, which is 3. It's back to us. So this hand, we can play Cloud9 with Quinn Carrier. We can play Soaring Acrobatics, and we can't do anything on the alert level. This is the problem when you're playing solo, is that if we don't drop this down, when Batroc attacks, this will go up to 3. And then if we draw an encounter card that says Batroc attacks or activates, this goes to 4, and we go to High Alert, which we want to avoid because High Alert is pretty bad. If that's the case, we might actually just be able to jump down here. Like we can thwart with Captain Marvel, get this down to 1, get another rescue captive, thwart 1. We'll probably flip down. I'm assuming we will flip down, especially because we haven't seen any of the cameras scenario encounter cards, and the cameras and counter cards are pretty good to be an alter ego. So if that's the case, we will flip down, which means we are just going to play. Falcon's pretty good. I like Falcon. So after Falcon enters play, look at the top 3 cards in the counter deck. Look at means that they stay in the same order. And then for each treachery, we can remove 1 threat. So we can also see if cameras are coming up. If we do that, there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 Falcon, and then we'll have 2 resources to bring the alert level down. I think that's totally fine. Otherwise, we can do no alert level, and we can play Cloud9 for 1, 2, plus Quinn Carrier. Then we can do 1, 2 for Soaring Acrobatics. That means we can thwart 4 this round. So we probably actually get multiple rescue captives It's either that or we heal. I don't think we heal. I think we flip down and we thwart a lot. I think jumping down with Spectrum is actually really important if we have Confused or something like that, because that means we can actually choose our form, and choosing the form is like clearly the power of Spectrum, let alone the flipping. The flipping text is really good. So it's either Cloud9 and Soaring Acrobatics or Falcon and No Alert. I'm gonna go for Falcon and No Alert. So Falcon comes in for 4. 3 health. We'll pitch 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll keep Soaring Acrobatics maybe. Depending what we see on the top. If we see cameras, we don't have to clear all the alert. So after Falcon enters play, look at the top 3 cards in the counter deck. For each treachery looked at, remove 1 threat. So the top card of the deck has no boost icons. That's really good because that will be Batroc's scheme. The next card is a treachery, which means that Batroc will scheme, but actually Batroc won't scheme. We'll get our nemesis guaranteed with this thing. So that's a 1 treachery. We need a second treachery as an obligation. Huge bummer, because that means we can only remove 1 threat here, which it's still fine. We can clear that with rescued captives. So we know the order. We're going to be drawing Dark Design as our boost icon, or sorry, as our encounter card, which means we're going to get Radioactive Man for sure. All right, I can put those on top face up because my memory's not very good. Rescue Captive will exhaust it. To remove 1 threat, we'll remove 1 threat from this, which we choose to reset it to 3. I wonder if we can just like send it to the end, but we get another Rescue Captive that comes in exhausted. We have Falcon for 2. We have Captain Marvel for 2. Spectrum for 3. So we'll get another Rescued Captive. Resets it to 3. There's only 1 more Rescue Captive, so when we get it, I think we don't advance. What's the text on this? We can also block with these. Like, if they die, it's not that important. When the last card is removed, pull 1 set-aside Rescue Captive into play. The players may advance to stage 3A. Okay, so no matter what, you get the Captive. We could consider it to advance right away. I don't think we really want to because we're going to flip down. So we could, in theory, do 4 more with Falcon, Captain Marvel. When we eventually do have to actually defeat Batroc at the end. Oh, no, we don't. We just have to escape. But if we defeat Batroc, we remove 6 threat. So I do think we should just do damage to Batroc. So Captain Marvel will do 2. Falcon will attack for 2. We'll Quinn carry to remove alarm level. I think we'll throw this out to remove alarm level. Actually, it's not that important because once we get the last one, the alarm level clears. So I'll hold this. Spectrum will flip down. All right. Because now we get 3 free threat a turn with the rescued captives. Like it's wild, the scaling in solo. Cards, we get Deft Focus, a bit late, still not bad. We have a bunch of superpowers still left, like this one, Gamma Blast, does 7 damage. Speed of Light to change forms. Adam Warlock, one of our favorites. And then we have Genius, so a pretty well-balanced hand. All right, this goes up to 2. Batroc Schemes, it's just for 2. Batroc doesn't cause alert level. We know the top card, so that goes to 4. And our card here is Dark Design, which says put a counter on Pursued by the Past. If there's counters there, Batroc Schemes, but there's no counters, so we go get Radioactive Man. And all of Radioactive Man's friends. Radioactive. All right, this one's hard to deal with. It's annoying that Radioactive Man like AoEs the whole board, so all our friends are going to get a bit hurt. That's not great, but we did draw into the perfect damage card for this. So Radioactive Man, after it activates, we take some damage. We have the Reactor Meltdown, which only has 2 threat on it, but when we clear this thing, we have to take damage. Everybody takes damage, which means we probably want to deal with that right now. Radioactive Meltdown. Excuse me? Radioactive Meltdown? Did I spell this wrong too? Oh, it's Reactor Meltdown, excuse me. So that comes with 2 threat. We shuffle 3 cards into the deck. That means the top card that we knew is going to be shuffled away, our obligation. So this has Crisis on it. Notably, Rescue Captive doesn't thwart. They say exhaust Rescue Captive to remove a threat from the main scheme. So I don't think Crisis cares about that. And then when we defeat this way, we take 1 damage to each character in play. Vivian could have blanked the text, which is kind of fun. But I don't think we mind so much. We definitely have to defeat Radioactive Man. Monica's ready. Now here, we can flip up, do a heal, go for some damage. We can change then to thwart mode. So I don't actually think we heal here. I think we just send the damage. And we need to make sure that when we defeat the Locate Missing Person that we have some cards left because alert level will go up to 2 and that's pretty bad. So I don't think we play any of these cards right away. I think we can just start doing things. So we're going to play 1, 2, It's too late for Death Focus. We'll just play Gamma Blast. That leaves these cards. So Speed of Light will be played to replace itself. We could do Overkill to Radioactive Man. It's not super important. Yeah, it's not super important. We lose 1 damage. So we'll flip up. We're going to flip up to Defense Mode. So Pulsar Mode says when we change this, heal 1 damage. We have +3 defense. We're going to use Captain Marvel to clear Reactor Meltdown, which again says that when you defeat it, everybody takes a damage. So everyone, including ourselves, takes a damage. Only friendly characters, right? Yeah. That's fine. Okay. Now we're still ready, but we're going to play Gamma Blast. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3 with Deft Focus. See, Deft Focus pays for pays for superpowers. Gamma Blast does change to Gamma Energy form. We will. Now we have +2 attack, but it says after you change this form, deal 1 damage to an enemy. We'll deal the damage to Batroc. And now it says deal 7 damage to an enemy. So that defeats Radioactive Man. So we dealt with that. Okay. We're going to go through our deck this round. Yeah, 5 cards. So that means we want to get Falcon into the bin. So we're going to do 2 with Falcon on the main scheme. That drops it to 2. We're going to exhaust a rescue captive to remove 2 more from this, which means we get the last rescue captive and we advance. So this one comes into play exhausted. None of these take up a slot. We go to the next scheme. Extract captives. You didn't find Garza, but you did discover several other civilian prisoners. You must get them out safely. When revealed, if the alert level is on its high side, deal each player a face down counter card. Otherwise, remove all threat from the alert level and flip it to its high side. Place 2 threat on expert. So this 3 threat, if we don't deal with it, we can just lose the game. Because importantly, now the alert level is here. Not only do we get +1 attack, +1 thwart on the villain, but more importantly is that a lot of the cards scale up more. And when this is completed, we do just lose the game. So we have to make sure alert level stays down. So if we just advanced out of nowhere, we can just straight up lose. Luckily, that's okay. Next thing on the back of this, it is our final scheme. It says in expert mode, each minion gains quick strike. That's easy to forget. It has 12 threat on here. We need to clear all of this and we win the game. And force interrupt, when an enemy attacks, it attacks a rescued captive instead. So that means we can block with ourselves, but losing the rescue captives is actually not that important if you're not playing campaign mode. You can let a couple go. Now, if there are no rescue captives, we do win. We do lose. That's actually a reason to get more rescue captives. But we just have to get rid of 12 threat. Okay. So we might as well remove 1 here, unless we need the damage on Batroc. I don't think we do. Batroc's attacking for 3 of a card, so rescue captain will probably be flatlined. So do we need a threat 3 or do we need attack for 3? Is it easier for us to do 6 damage, which does 6 threat, or easier to do 6 threat? I think 6 threat is almost easier. So we'll play Speed of Light. Change forms and draw a card. So we'll change to our Photon form, which removes the threat. And then we draw a card. Pulsar Shield. Okay, so that's good to hold because we can block. Spectrum will thwart for 3. Drops this to 8. 12 minus 9, yeah. No, 12 minus 4. Yeah, that's good. So we're going to keep this. We're going to Quinn Carry to reduce this for sure. I think we're going to rescue captive exhaust to reduce this by 1. It's on 7. We will throw out acrobatics to reduce by 1. So that's clear. And then we'll just hold these 2 cards. We'll hold Adam Warlock because it's okay. It means we won't deck out. And I think we can win without decking out. So that's totally fine. Because then we'll have enough cards in hand. We'll Pulsar Shield to block Batroc. And then we hope that we have a way to jump back into a different mode. We actually should check if that's the case. Because we want to go back into the threat mode. So Speed of Lights, there's 3 in the deck. 1, 2. I think we had 1 in our opening hand. No, so we probably draw into a Speed of Light if I didn't count this wrong. Because there's 3 in the deck. 1, 2. Yeah, okay, that's good. And in terms of the one that removes a bunch of threat, that's the other good one. I think we've lost 2 so far, maybe 3. That was 1, 2. Okay, I think we've lost all 3. 3, okay. So the only thing that lets us change form easily is Speed of Light. So we're hoping that we draw it. We don't draw a whole deck, but we'll probably draw one. Okay, we can't jump down to Alter Ego, mind you, because we were just there. So we'll keep these 2, draw 3. Power of Flight. Okay, that means Adam Warlock can be played, and Adam Warlock actually can do a lot of threading. Can do like 4 threat. Energy Duplication. Last card. That means the last card in the deck is a Speed of Light. Oh, we got unlucky. So we have no way to change forms. Very, very ugly. All right, this goes up to 8. Batroc attacks for 3 in a card. That puts 1 alert level here. So 3 in a card, but it attacks one of the rescued captives. So we'll attack the healthiest one. So in theory, we can just let this through. Like, this is the, I wouldn't say the issue, but specifically Extract Captive says that when an enemy attacks, it would attack a rescue captive instead. And if there's no rescue captives, we lose. There's no benefit for rescuing all the rescued captives unless you're playing on campaign mode, because if you play on campaign mode, this is rescued captive. On campaign mode, you have less locks on the thing if on the next scenario for every person that you rescue. So there's a reason to protect them, but here it just gives us 1 thwart. If that's the case, our hand is so bad, I don't think we're going to block for this. It also puts an alert level up, which means we can exhaust every character if we're unlucky. 1, 2, 3. Boost icon, place 1 pursuit counter here, so that's fine. So this rescue captive is still alive, but it's on 2 health. Our encounter card, Sap Power, cool. So this attaches to us, attached to your identity. After your turn ends, take 1 damage. We don't care about that, and spend 2 energy icons to discard this. Neat. Alter ego action, of course. So it's us. All we have to do is 8 threat. This is 4 threat. We can do 3 threat. So we just have to do 1 more threat. Exhaust, 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 exhaust. Drops it down to 4. We will do 3 from Spectrum. 1, 2, 3. We'll play Adam Warlock with Word for 1. That's it. Ugh. Yeah, the snare is weird. It's weird. It's either really, really unfair when you draw cameras, which we didn't. But if we drew cameras there, we have to exhaust everyone or we lose the game. Oh, actually, because we're on 1, that's not the case. If Rescue Captive was defeated and we drew cameras, then we lose the game. But we got lucky that we didn't draw it. I think every rescued security cameras is still in the deck. But there's 4 of them in the deck. It's the most common card. Yeah, they're all at the bottom. Let's let the captive die, NBD. Honestly, Tron, it was right. It was like, if the captive dies, the captive dies. Batroc needed to draw a big boost for that. Batroc drew a no boost, but he had to draw a 2 or a 3, which is, I don't think, likely. How you doing, by the way? Excited for ESL? Are you playing on Sunday? I think you're not playing. I think that's your week off, right? Okay, let's clean this up. I think we have time for 1 more. Yeah, we can do 1 more. The next one is usually pretty easy. The next one also has some really suspect scaling for solo. I'll show you what I mean. So, smells like someone is making nachos. That is not going to make playing easier, but 3 is a nice round number. So we'll get through it. This goes here. Let's just separate this. So we have Batroc's Brigade, Standard and Expert, Batroc, Science, Science, Batroc's Batroc, Standard, Brigade. Oh my god. Anytime I have to do this on camera, I feel so inept. I've already goofed it. Oh my god. Nice. Okay. So aim soldiers, there's 5. Aim science, good. There's 5 of our nemesis. How do you like the Thunderbolt scenario? I got frustrated with it last time on the basis that I didn't understand how the thing worked. If you read the book is much more clear than the card. The book actually explains it well. I think the card, it's hard to get all those words into there. I find it to be, again, it's another thing that I think looks much more interesting when you play more than 1 player. When you play solo, the fact that the one of the Thunderbolt just hangs out in the corner and you don't have to deal with it, and you don't, any of the cards that like rotate them don't matter. Like that just kind of feels strange. It feels like you're missing something, and to some extent, obviously you are. So it's been strange. I played it last Friday and I did get blown up 1 time. But the other time it's just like, it feels like something isn't working. So I don't know, mixed bag. It's cool that it's modular. I think that's cool. I like the modularity of scenarios and that they'll support the modularity of it going forward, but it hasn't been stellar. I think it's probably very, very cool when you're playing more than 1 player. I just don't think I've seen a box that's been this disparate between solo and multiplayer. All right, M.O.D.O.K, let's go. M.O.D.O.K. scenario has divided opinions in the community from what I've seen. M.O.D.O.K on Expert comes in with 3 scheme, but only 1 attack. And so we're probably going to take as many attacks as we can. 14 health, notably, this does not scale, just like Batroc doesn't when you play more players. But the benefit for destroying M.O.D.O.K, that does scale to some extent. Retaliate 2 is a lot of Retaliate. We also have Steady. We don't really care about Steady. We have 1 card in our deck that can stun, but Steady means that this card needs 2 stuns or 2 confuses for that to cash in. So we're just basically not going to interact with that. And the Force Interrupt, when we defeat M.O.D.O.K, we can remove 2 lock counters from the holding cells and we reset the health. What's pretty important about this deck is that this deck has a whole bunch of attachments that attach to M.O.D.O.K, and the only way you can get rid of them is by defeating M.O.D.O.K. I feel like how easy M.O.D.O.K is comes down to how many attachments you attach, because largely most that I've played in solo, I barely defeat M.O.D.O.K besides the last time in which you have to defeat M.O.D.O.K. And when you have to defeat M.O.D.O.K, then it really matters. So forcing M.O.D.O.K to have to be defeated earlier, that can matter a lot. All right. Our main scheme here, upgrading adaptoids. We play with M.O.D.O.K, we play with Scientist Supreme and Standard. It says create the holding cell deck. So the holding cell deck, there are 4 of these holding cells. They tell you what's in them. They all are very obvious what's in them. So we're just going to shuffle them, look away. I've always started with Sarah Garza on the top every time I've played this, which is not the best one to start with, but is pretty good to start with. I dropped one. Try that again. The thing is I have to shuffle this. Normally I'd roll a die, but technically you shouldn't know what's underneath it. So shuffling is the only thing that makes sense. Okay, we didn't get Sarah Garza, but we got the most busted one on top. So this is the holding cell. This one is the one with mental resources. And this comes in with a couple counters on it. So just to show you, this comes in with 2 counters on it per player. So it's only 2 counters. Technically, this one would come in with 1 counter if we're playing on campaign mode, because you remove counters for the people that you've rescued in the last. So this has 2 counters on it. Now, when the last lock is removed from this, it flips over. It becomes an ally that enters play that doesn't take up an ally slot. But we can always spend an action as a hero to spend 2 mental resources, which actually now it matters what resource we're generating based off our energy duplication card, or 3 resources to remove a lock from this. Notably, when we defeat M.O.D.O.K, we remove 2 locks, which is pretty important because we can just get the card out of the holding cell. And we functionally need to rescue everybody from the holding cells. There's 4 cards in a row. And you'll see on the backside, they're very good allies. They're very powerful allies. And if those allies are ever defeated, they go back into the holding cell in the bottom of the deck, and you have to rescue them again. Now, notably, we cannot defeat M.O.D.O.K, but if we ever defeat M.O.D.O.K while there's no holding cells left, M.O.D.O.K is defeated. So we just have to get the people out of the cells. Now, it says, put 1 random adaptoid environment into play, but 2 random environment adaptoids into play if we're playing Expert, which we are. So this will be 1, this will be 4. So we're having Sarah Garza. This is 1, 2, 5, 6. We have Flying Upgrade. So these just mean every adaptoid in the game is going to have a constant stat boost. So the Sarah Garza one is the one that gives Villainous, I think. So this says every adaptoid gets +1 attack, gains overkill and ranged. Okay, so that's not the one I was thinking of. It gives them elite traits, which we don't actually care about, I don't believe. But +1 attack, overkill, and range. So we have to remember that. Range doesn't matter because we don't have retaliate, but overkill matters. And obviously +1 attack matters. I think I have an overkill counter. Yeah, I do. All right, the next one is Flying Upgrade. So we have a bit of a mix here. So Flying Upgrade says they get +1 scheme, Insight 1, and Aerial. So now they're scheming a bit harder. Aerial doesn't also matter. It's just flavor. Some cards care about it, but I don't think we're going to see any. And Insight 1 means every time it enters play, we have to add 1 scheme to the main scheme. Now, these will just be in play. There's no way to interact with them. But this also says, the last part of this says, reveal an adaptoid and put into play. So we reveal an adaptoid, which is, adapted. Adaptoid. So it has 5 health. It has Insight 1, so we'll put 1 threat on the main scheme, I'm pretty sure. Now, when we defeat this, we remove all counters from the environment. It also has +1 attack, +1 thwart, and it has overkill. This doesn't have guard, but you definitely want to deal with it. It won't get stronger like in Zola, where if you ignore it, it gets upgraded. But these are the 2 upgrades that we'll have to worry about. All right, going back, we flip this over. This is the only 1 scheme that we're playing with. And notably, if this thing advances, we don't lose the game. We add another adaptoid enhancement, but then the next time this advances, we do lose the game. So there'll be 2 threat on here, and it just reminds you how that text works. So we can let this advance once, but we can't let this advance twice. Otherwise, that's it. We'll shuffle the deck together. Again, we just have to get the people out of the jail cell. And what you'll notice, which is, I think, part of the weird balancing stuff with this game, is that the characters in the jail cell are busted. They're very, 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 very powerful. Now, how many locks that are on the jail cell, that does scale with player count. So I only have to deal with 2 locks per cell, but if I play 2 players, it'd be 4 locks per cell. But the difference is, the benefit you get from the jail cell doesn't scale well with player count. The card that we get will be a very powerful ally, and one person having a very powerful ally is much, much more powerful than two people sharing one powerful ally. So you'll notice also a bunch of the allies will say things like every time that you scheme with them, remove a lock counter. And that's another thing that scales really differently when it removes half the locks versus one lock out of 4 or 6 or 8. This is where this scenario gets really strange. It has also very strange scaling, and it does not feel like it's balanced anywhere near the same for multiplayer as it is for solo. And so once we clear this, and we'll probably rush this out, we get an ally, and that ally removes a lock a turn. And when we have to remove 8 locks, a lock a turn is a lot of locks. Specifically when you play multiplayer, that's only 4 locks out of potentially like 16. Here's 4 locks out of 8. It's half the locks we have to deal with. Oh no, sorry. 4 locks out of 8. Yeah. 4 locks out of 8. All right. So that's ready. We're good to go. We don't do an encounter card. We start with an Adaptoid. Let's just shuffle our deck. We're at full health as well. All right, doing 5 damage to the Adaptoid on turn 1 is difficult. We can flip up that does 1 damage. We can attack that does 3 damage. So we have to figure out how to do another damage to the Adaptoid. It has overkill, so we don't want to chump block with it. But M.O.D.O.K only attacks for 1 in a card. So honestly, it doesn't matter. Retaliate 2 does suck. So probably the only time that we're ever going to attack M.O.D.O.K is if we have our 7 damage attack. Because we don't have anybody with ranged. It's another weird scenario too, where like if you play Maria Hill and you use the Iliad is not an attack. So you don't take damage. So another thing where Maria Hill just doesn't interact with the Retaliate 2. I also think the community just really doesn't like Retaliate 2. I think they find it super frustrating. And I kind of get it, but I don't know. Feels kind of fair. It's cool. I don't mind Retaliate. All right. Sorry, we start here. Let's draw some cards. Gamma Blast. Okay, that does just 7 damage, and we can do Overkill. Overkill's a nice thing. It gets around Retaliate, so we can just Gamma Blast the Adaptoid. Probably will hold on to that. It's a nice way to deal with that. Speed of Light, we don't need this. This changes forms, draws a card. It's technically a cantrip that gives you a free healing or a free threat, which is not awful, so that's in the maybe pile, but not a massive card. Pulsar Shield, useless on turn 1. Okay, it hurt me. Power of Leadership, if we have something, and we can play Adam Warlock on turn 1. So we play Adam Warlock on turn 1 with Power of Leadership. This will be 3 cards. And then we want to throw another card from our hand from Adam Warlock, which means we can't play Gamma Blast. Because Gamma Blast is 3 cards, Adam Warlock is 1, 2, and a 3rd card. Which means we have to discard a card and hopefully get a double. So we'll throw these out, and we're looking for a double to play Gamma Blast. Because we can't play both of these cards. I'll still hope for it. Speed of Light. All right, we did get a double. It's awkward because we need to spend both doubles on here, which means we actually waste a resource. So bad hand, not good. There's a chance that this all gets fixed when Speed of Light draws into a double, because we might as well not play this or not pitch it, because if we play it, we draw a card. That being said, sometimes keeping this in your hand is good because it makes Adam Warlock fire consistently, and Adam Warlock forces you to discard a card, and if it's wild, you don't care. You can choose the choice. Okay, so we want to just be attacked by M.O.D.O.K over and over again. Notably, we have no mental resource icons in our hand, so we can't interact with the holding cell favorably. If we defeat the Adaptoid, it puts 1 lock on it. Notably, in campaign mode, we'd only have 1 lock on that one because we did well in the last scenario. So if we want to get Adam on the table, we can't do everything. So we probably play Speed of Light. We can Speed of Light. The question is what we want to do with M.O.D.O.K. I think M.O.D.O.K wants to be in damage form. So we can flip up, take 1 off of here, then flip up, put M.O.D.O.K on damage form. This will be on 4. We draw a card. If it's a double, we can do Adam Warlock. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I guess we need it to be a double, huh? I think that's okay. Worst case scenario, we don't Gamma Blast, and we just use Adam to do the last damage here, because M.O.D.O.K does 4, and then Adam can do 1. So we'll flip up. We'll go into Photon mode, because we're going to change modes. And when in Photon mode, we get +2 thwart. We can remove 1 threat from a scheme. Then we'll just go ahead and play Speed of Light. Speed of Light, we have 3 of these in the deck. Most of our cards are 3 in the deck in terms of the hero cards. So change energy forms. So we'll change to Gamma form, which when we change this, we get +3 to attack, and we do 1 damage to somebody. Draw a card, give us a double. Quinn Carrier. Oh, that's interesting. How's Quinn Carrier not aerial? It's in the air. I'm pretty sure it only flies. So that means we can say that we want to be greedy and just play the Quinn Carrier. So we can do 1, 2, 3 for the Quinn Carrier. Quinn Carrier for 2 for Adam Warlock, and we don't use his ability. I think that's fine. Getting the Quinn Carrier down on turn 1 is good. So we'll pitch 3 for the Quinn Carrier. We are an Avenger, so we can play it. Generates 1 a turn. We'll exhaust it to generate 1. We'll pitch the Power of Flight, which generates 2 for an aerial card. We'll play Adam. Adam comes into play. We're going to waste some value on Adam, that's for sure. But Spectrum will attack for 3. Adam Warlock will attack for 1. We can't use Adam's ability because we don't have cards in hand, but that does clean the board, which clears a lock, and we are good to go. Again, our upgrades are attack, overkill, range, scheming, insight 1. Okay. I'm going to put this on top because insight 1 is easy to forget. Remind me if we draw an Adaptoid, we have to put a threat on the main scheme. All right. Okay, setup turn. Nick Fury off the top. Let's get some juicy resources. Ready to Rumble is okay. There's a resource generator, pretty good. Okay, now we're gaming. And then we get Soaring Acrobatics. So it'd be nice to play it. I think we'd rather get energy duplication down. So we can do 1, 2 for this. 1, 2, 3, 4 for Nick. Draw 3 cards probably. This goes up by 1. M.O.D.O.K is attacking for 1 in a card. That is shockingly low. We'll take it. 3 damage. We're down to 8. Encounter card. Loss of control. Give to Monica. Exhaust Monica. Remove loss of control from the game. Okay, that's a bit ugly because now we have to consider jumping down and we don't have any confuse, which is probably a bad thing to be doing in solo. Otherwise, we cannot change energy forms, which we could just be stuck in attack form all game, which maybe that's okay. But that's not great. We also do have Genius. We can just spend Genius here to get the holding cell into play, and then we can do 4 with Quinn Carrier. That actually might be right. I think just taking things off the holding cell is the most important, and this character behind here is busted. And again, this holding cell requires us to spend 2 mental, and it's really easy when you're holding Genius to do 2 mental. The other option... Oh, that's the wrong holding cell, excuse me. The other option is we just hope that we draw into 2 mental. Because, well, energy makes physical. We could do like 1, 2, 3, 4 with the Quinn Carrier first and see what happens. That's fine. I think we'll do that. So we'll spend 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 on Nick Fury. Nick Fury comes into play. The worst thing about playing Nick Fury or Maria Hill is you can't play Nick Fury as the ally. So we'll draw 3 cards. Mental. Energy. Speed of Light, which is a wild. That's pretty good. Doesn't say spend mental, printed mental, it just says spend mental. So when you pay with a wild, you can choose the cost. This hand's pretty good. So I think we're just going to spend Genius to flip this holding cell. So we get the last off of this, which means the next one comes in with 2. The next one is Sarah Garza, almost always at the top. And then we get this character, which is pretty messed up, I'll be honest. This doesn't seem like it scales particularly reasonably. Psionic Human, 5 health. After ally thwarts, remove a lock counter from a holding cell. I don't understand. That is absurd. That is absurd. Because we have to just remove 8 lock counters, and this removes 5 of them. Technically, when you defeat it, like it only removes 4 of them, unless you can heal it. And there's ways to heal people. But if you know what I mean, like I don't totally get it. So Psionic Human, of course, is going to thwart for 1, which removes a lock counter. This one needs a wild icon to remove. So we'll just spend Speed of Light to remove the next icon. And that deals with this holding cell. Again, spend a wild icon. We did have one there, let alone Quinn Carrier. So now we get another person. And now we get Sarah Garza. This has 2 locks. We need 2 physicals. This is Sarah Garza. Sarah Garza comes in with ranged, so she doesn't have to take overkill, or sorry, retaliate 2. Also has 5 health, also has thwart 2. Nick Fury cannot attack M.O.D.O.K without dying, which we want to avoid. But Sarah will. So attacks for 2. Doesn't take retaliate because she has ranged. Nick Fury will just thwart. Oh, wait. No, Nick Fury doesn't do anything because we might use Adam here. What do we have in our hand? 1 mental, 1 energy. So it's a 50-50. So hold on. It's a 50-50. Half the time, Adam Warlock will heal 3 damage, which is fine. Half the time, Adam Warlock will deal 3 damage. That is, I'll take those odds. So I'll use Adam Warlock. We'll take 1 off of this. And that's only after you attacks or thwarts. And I don't think you can attack or thwart if there's no threat. So Nick Fury will be slightly wasted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. We get mental, which is deal 3 damage. It's not an attack, so we don't take retaliate. We're stuck in this mode. We could hop down. We put 1, 2, 3, 4. If we draw 3 boost icons, we advance, which we don't lose the game to advancing. But if we ever want to get rid of lost control, we have to jump down, I think. Yeah, I think we have to jump down here. Oh, but then Nick doesn't block. I think we hold on for 1 turn. The problem is, like, we're just in the worst mode. We don't want to be in attack mode. We want to be in thwart mode. If that's the case, though, we could just attack for 3 and just get M.O.D.O.K down and take retaliate 2. Yeah, no regrets. We'll attack for 3. So we take 2 retaliate, drops M.O.D.O.K down to 6. We just want to get M.O.D.O.K low, because if we remove 2 counters from this, we'll remove 1 counter next turn, 1 with Psionic and Human. We just do the last one, and then we just have to do 6 damage. Oh, we're ready. We'll throw out Falcon. We want physical resources. Got a physical resource. Best thing about Air Supremacy, you don't have to play it. Falcon, another physical resource. Okay, we're gaming. Vivian, cheap. Nice. Captain Marvel, not cheap. And then Death Focus, which this might be too fast to actually have to play that. Okay, we had 1 threat here. M.O.D.O.K attacks for 1 in the card. Might as well block with Nick. Boost icon, place a pursuit counter. Nick is not even killed. Nick is on 1 health, 2 health. And counter card is Evil Alliance. Each Nemesis minion play activates. Otherwise, we play 3 counters here. Okay, things got harder. But that's because we perfectly drew our Nemesis minion as soon as possible. So we have Radioactive Man, that is 6. We have Meltdown, which is really annoying in this side scheme. So we actually might have to blank this with our friend Vivian, because otherwise all our Inhumans, our rescued people, also take damage, and we don't want that to happen. So now we do have to deal with Radioactive Man, which luckily for us, we are stuck in aggression mode. And if all we have is aggression, that's fine that we have somebody to hit. All right, we'll shuffle those into the deck. All right, again, Radioactive Man, 6 health. After Radioactive Man activates, we have to do a damage to every character, and no different reactor Meltdown says the same text, but after we defeat it, we have to deal damage to everybody we control. Nick is discarded at the end of the round. So, we're going to play Vivian. We have 2 physical resources, and so that's our whole hand. So we'll spend 2 resources on Vivian. After Vivian enters play, choose an attachment, non-elite minion, or non-permanent side scheme and blank its text box. So we're going to blank the annoying text on the Reactor Meltdown. That's well timed. Vivian can just one-shot the Reactor Meltdown. I think that's okay. I think she will. So Vivian will just clear this. It doesn't do its text because Vivian blanked it. Really well timed. Psionic and Human will thwart for 1, which clears 1 counter from this. And then we'll spend 2 physicals to clear the last counter. We get... This one needs 2 energy resources. That's the thing that we have most of in our deck. And we get Strong and Human. This one has toughness. It has 3 attack, which is a lot. We can, in theory, deal with Radioactive Man. And just not worry about the toughness. I think that's fine. We don't care about toughness when M.O.D.O.K attacks for that little. Okay, we're stuck in violence mode. So violence mode will attack for 3 for Radioactive Man. We have no cards in hand for Adam Warlock. Sarah Garza will attack for 2. Dropping this to 4. Strong and Human will attack for 3, taking the toughness off, getting rid of Radioactive Man. We will pass. All we have to do is clear 2 counters. And if we draw a lot of energy icons and we have the Quinn Carrier, we should be good. So we just need to have 3 energy icons and we win the game. Draw cards. No energy icon. Cloud9. Energy icon, ready to rumble. Come on. No energy icons, photon speed. If we draw 2 more energy icons, we're golden. 1 energy icon, Snow Guard. Wild, that counts. We're good to go. We should be able to get out of here. We put 1 on here. M.O.D.O.K attacks for 1 in the card. We're not going to block. 2 boost icons. This activation is an attack against piercing, so we take 2. We're on 4. Our encounter card is, we're low on health. Aim Jailer. Guard. Oh, that's bad. Okay, that actually will slow us down. Maybe. When revealed, Aim Jailer attacks the rescued ally with the fewest remaining hit points. Otherwise, place 1 lock counter in a holding cell. So the fewest remaining hit points would be the Psionic and Human. Or Sarah Garza. We are allowed to block with Adam Warlock. Yes, we'll just block with Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock is defeated. So now the issue is we have to get through the Aim Jailer and we have to get through M.O.D.O.K. We can clear 1 from this, which clears 1 from that. Then we can do 2 energy, which clears 1 from that. Then we just have to do 8 damage. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But it's ugly split. I think we're still fine. Yeah. So Psionic and Human will thwart for 1. Clears this, takes a counter off. Then hero action, spend 2 energy resources. There is no shot we're playing Snow Guard, but regardless, we'll play 2 resource icons, and then we'll deal with the last holding cell. So this holding cell comes in, and we get the last person. So now all we have to do is defeat M.O.D.O.K, which doesn't heal for some reason when we rescue the people. I reckon it should heal, but we have a flying inhuman. Comes in with 5. Thwarts for 2. After his ally thwarts, remove thwart from another scheme. That one being on the bottom is the best case for us. I think that's the worst one for this setup. All right, so we just have to get through the aim jailer. So we'll attack for 3. Then we'll attack for 1. Sarah Garza will attack for 2. And destroy. That's it. Yeah. I don't know. I don't get the scenario. I feel like the scenario, the difficulty of clearing the cells scales with player count, but the rewards does not scale with player counts. These characters are incredibly busted. We got super lucky that we started with the psionic inhuman. The psionic inhuman obviously is like super cracked because we just remove a free 4 counters, no shot, no problem. But that is like pretty representative of the issue with the scenario. Like we were stuck in this mode and it didn't matter. Like generally that's, I wouldn't say a death sentence, but something you really have to care about with Spectrum. But yeah, you just fly through M.O.D.O.K. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. We're probably going to call the stream here. Thanks so much for hanging out. I think there's some dinner being made. I'm pretty hungry, but thanks so much for hanging out. I'm going to stop playing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. solo because I do think it's just probably not the best solo box, and we have some other good stuff to play, but I feel like kind of a negative broken record and I want to avoid that. Yeah, that's how M.O.D.O.K usually goes. Cool. Heart. Thanks, Teron. We'll be back on Sunday streaming some Netrunner on the Eternal Super League. If you want to drop in and watch that, I think it's going to be pretty exciting. Otherwise, spoiler season starts officially next week. I've been working on some stuff. I got a new animation to work on, a lot of other stuff going on in the background. So it's going to be pretty exciting for sure. Enjoy your nachos. Thank you, Coke. Thanks for stream. Have a good day. Thank you. You too. Thanks for stream. Gailhar. Thanks for hanging out. I don't think the Spectrum deck is anything too, which is a bit unfortunate. None of the times that we did the aerial payoff card that we actually play it. And I do think so much of it is just struggling to keep in the form and the right time and the right place. So we have to really figure it out. ESL. Yeah, I'm excited for ESL. I'm not sure if ESL starts at 2 or 3. I have to clarify that because daylight savings happen on both sides of the ocean at this point. So if you are subscribed and have the notify button, that is definitely going to help you. But that's mostly it. Thanks so much for hanging out. We'll see you in the next one. I'm going to upload another video. We're going to forget. Actually, I should ask this question probably. I probably shouldn't ask good questions before I say I'm going to hang up. But we're uploading the finale, excuse me, of Nightcrawler Aggression versus the Age of Apocalypse campaign. Obviously, in every game, I make one mistake, barring the last one. Dark Beast won perfectly, so that's good. And that kind of hurts, but that's how recorded content works. But I feel like doing the same hero against the same campaign, the deck changes slightly because we do tune it for every scenario, but I feel like that might not be the most exciting. I feel like people always want to see something different. I don't know whether we should pick a hero and then do every aspect through a campaign. So we do like, you know, one scenario is leadership, one scenario is aggression. That might be more cool. Or we just have to do different things all the time. I mostly play on a campaign mode, and I wonder if that doesn't make good online content because people are tired of watching Nightcrawler, let alone Nightcrawler Aggression. But if you're watching this and you have any feedback, let me know. It doesn't have to be in the chat. It can be in the comment for sure. But I'm just trying to figure out what content makes sense. Recording content for Marvel Champions is like relatively easy. I just turn this camera on, play. I normally play when my off hours anyways. I just want to make something that like people are excited for. I don't know if 5 Nightcrawler games in a row is exactly that. It is for me. But again, then why would I record it? That's it. If you have any feedback on that, let me know for sure. Very interested to hear what that is. But that's going to be it. We'll clean this up, get some dinner. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you in the next one. Ciao.